adding an additional 2.5% to the cost of goods and services. Bus fares have gone up, bread costs more, electricity, water, food, internet, even your mobile credit, it all costs more. For many St. Lucians, their paychecks don't stretch like they used to. Meanwhile, the government has reduced subsidies on flour, making basic necessities harder to afford. And while they raise prices on you, they've removed 700 people from the public assistance list, leaving our most vulnerable families with no support. St. Lucia is paying the price for a government that refuses to care. How much more can Life in St. Lucia has become unbearable. Every day, we feel the crushing weight of a government that's out of touch with the struggles of its people. They've collected millions in taxes on fuel, leaving us paying more for gasoline, cooking gas, kerosene, and diesel. And as if that wasn't enough, the Health and Security Levy has made everything more expensive, adding an additional 2.5% to the cost of goods and services. Bus fares have gone up, bread costs more, electricity, water, food, internet, even your mobile credit, it all costs more. For many St. Lucians, their paychecks don't stretch like they used to. Meanwhile, the government has reduced subsidies on flour, making basic necessities harder to afford. And while they raise prices on you, They've removed 700 people from the public assistance list, leaving our most vulnerable families with no support. St. Lucia is paying the price for a government that refuses to care. How much more can we take? How many more sacrifices must we make while they mismanage our country's finances? It's time to fight back, to stand up for our families, our future, and our country. No more excuses, no more broken promises. We can't afford to stay silent. The high cost of living is suffocating us, but together we can make our voices heard. St. Lucia deserves better. Pierre Pabo.
Senator Lisa Joahir, who also serves as the communications director for the St. Lucia Labour Party, continues to blatantly lie and deceive St. Lucians. In a recent press brief, the SLP spokeswoman tried to deny that St. Lucia's agriculture sector declined by 17% in 2023. These are the facts according to the 2023 Social and Economic Review, a document prepared by the Ministry of Finance. On page 32, the opening paragraph reads, "Based on preliminary estimates, the agriculture sector's real value added declined by 17% in 2023. It went further on pages 33 to 38 to highlight the decline in the various agriculture subsectors. Fishing production declined by 4.6%. Livestock production declined by 17.3%. Chicken production declined by 11.7%. Pork production declined by 41.6%. Egg production declined by 7.8%. Banana production declined by 45.5%. Non-banana crops declined by 17.3%. And regional exports of bananas declined by 54%. The future of St. Lucia's food security is in jeopardy under Labour. The UWP has a plan and is ready to right the wrongs of this reckless SLP administration. Our farmers and fisher folk deserve better. Lisa, Prosper, and Philippe Pierre, Pabo."
At a recent briefing, Prime Minister Philippe Pierre claimed that the Castries Suites project has been delayed due to bathroom sinks and toilets breaking during shipment. Not just once, but twice.
There were a series of unfortunate events. Number one, there was supposed to have the toilets, the special toilets. They got broken. Mine went in shipping. My information is they were sent back to all the new ones, and then the other ones came back and they sent back the same broken ones. So my information, you see, and a lot.
But here's the truth. The sinks and toilets designed for prison facilities are made of stainless steel, built to withstand extreme conditions and nearly impossible to break in transit. The Prime Minister's claim doesn't add up. This project was initially estimated to cost $1.5 million. Somehow, that budget tripled to $4.5 million, and now there are reports that the costs have spiraled even higher. With every delay and excuse, taxpayers are forced to bear the burden of rising costs while the government dodges accountability. Why isn't Prime Minister Pierre giving the people the truth about what's really causing the delays and escalating the costs? St. Lucia deserves a leader who takes responsibility, not one who resorts to dubious excuses. Our country demands transparency and honesty, not stories that simply don't hold water.
In 2019, the Alan Chasney-led United Workers' Party took decisive action to address the healthcare challenges faced by St. Lucians. The UWP secured a US $20 million loan from the World Bank under the Health Systems Strengthening Project. Out of this loan, US $5.5 million was specifically allocated to establish the framework for a national health insurance program. Under this initiative, every St. Lucian would have received up to $75,000 in healthcare coverage on an annual basis, making healthcare more accessible, equitable, and affordable for all. An advisory board of experts, including Dr. Stephen King and Dr. Merle Clark, was assembled to design the framework for this transformative program. However, when the Philip J. Pierre administration took office, they chose to abandon this initiative. Why? Simply because it was started by the United Workers' Party. The consequences of this decision are devastating. Families continue to struggle with medical expenses, hospitals remain overwhelmed, and St. Lucians are left without the healthcare safety net they were excitedly expecting. Where is the accountability? Where is the vision? We would not be facing the current health crisis if the NHI program had been implemented. The National Health Insurance Program was never about politics. It was about people. It would ensure every St. Lucian had access to the care they deserve. Let's set the record straight. The health of our nation should never be sacrificed for politics. It's time to demand a healthcare system that St. Lucians deserve. Labour, Pabo.
On October 20th, 2024, at the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre Pabo, we need real leadership, not deception. Youth and Sports Minister Kenson Casimir has been caught blatantly lying about the delays with several disciplines related to national school sports. On October 23, 2024, an article published by Terry Finisterre, a well-known sports journalist and a close political ally of Minister Casimir, penned an article titled "School Sports Suspended." The story went on to explain that secondary student athletes in St. Lucia would be denied an opportunity to showcase their talents and abilities this term, as school sports has been suspended. It went further to say that this term faced the unusual interruption due to the Julian Alfred homecoming in September. According to Finisterre, one official who wished to remain anonymous told him that the disruption in instruction occasioned by the week of activities, including school rallies and a holiday, in addition to the resources that went into planning the festivities, were all a factor in deciding to cull sports. It is therefore disingenuous and a blatant lie on the part of Minister Casimir to accuse the UWP of fabricating this issue when it was first brought to light by his close friend and colleague. Attempts to salvage the issue were only made due to significant public pressure over the last 2 weeks. Our young athletes deserve leaders who will prioritize their development, not make excuses. It's time for transparency, accountability, and truth. St. Lucia deserves a government that values youth empowerment, not one that sidelines it. Kenson Pabo.
Are you ready to make a difference? Join the movement that aims to make St. Lucia the best place to live, work, visit, and invest. The United Workers' Party is a team of forward thinkers, visionaries, passionate and caring citizens just like you. Together, we can create a brighter future, create safer communities, lower taxes, improve healthcare, and create more opportunities for all. Stand with the UWP and be part of change. Join the United Workers' Party. because St. Lucia deserves better.
Youth and Sports Minister Kenson Kazime is under fire now that it has been revealed that he has acquired millions worth of real estate over the last 3.5 years. Since assuming office, Kazime has developed 3 villas in Union Hilltop. He is now in the process of constructing another development in Cap Estate, this time with 5 properties. What makes this transaction suspicious is that Kazime made a $100,000 cash deposit on the property. The total cost of the property is about $273,000. Compounding the situation is that a contractor, who is also a political financier of Kazime, is the one developing the minister's newly acquired Cap Estate property. This same contractor was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract for rehabilitation work done on the Darren Sammy cricket ground in preparation for World Cup cricket, as well as numerous other contracts in the constituency of Grosley. The allegations being leveled against the minister is that he has received kickbacks from the contractor for the Cap Estate development in return for the awarding of multi-million-dollar contracts around the constituency. Has Kazime filed these developments with the Integrity Commission? Prime Minister Philippe claimed that he would have a zero tolerance for corruption in his cabinet, although he has ignored numerous glaring examples of corruption amongst his cabinet colleagues. Will this be another situation that Philippe blindly ignores? St. Lucians deserve answers. Kenson and Philippe Pabo.
The United Workers' Party reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the health and well-being of every St. Lucian. When re-elected, we will reinstate the National Health Insurance NHI program, a vital initiative that was regrettably abandoned by the St. Lucia Labour Party, the SLP. This decision by the SLP has left thousands of St. Lucians vulnerable with limited access to affordable quality health care. The United Workers' Party will correct this injustice because we believe that health care is not a privilege, it is a fundamental human right that every citizen is entitled to. The National Health Insurance Program was designed to create a comprehensive, inclusive, and sustainable healthcare system that ensures no one is left behind or left out. And that is regardless of economic status. Under the leadership of the United Workers' Party, the NHI will be reinstated to provide the following benefits to St. Lucians. 1. Comprehensive health coverage. Every St. Lucian will have access to essential healthcare services, which includes doctor consultations, hospitalization, specialist care, diagnostic tests, maternity services, prescription medication, and emergency medical attention. No one will be denied care because of their inability to pay. Secondly, we'll reduce the financial burden. Too many families and individuals face the impossible choice between seeking medical care and meeting basic living expenses. The NHI will significantly reduce out-of-pocket expenses, making healthcare more affordable for all, especially for vulnerable groups like the elderly, children, low-income families, and single parents. 3. Timely and efficient medical attention. Long wait times and delayed treatments often result in worsened health outcomes. With the NHI, patients will receive timely care, preventing complications and reducing the strain on our already burdened healthcare system. Number 4, it will focus on preventative care. Preventative health care reduces long-term costs and improves quality of life. The NHI will cover preventative services such as routine checkups, screenings, immunizations, and health education programs to promote healthier lifestyles and reduce the prevalence of chronic lifestyle diseases. Number 5, strengthening the healthcare system. The NHI will provide the financial stability needed to upgrade medical facilities, invest in modern equipment, and improve the working conditions of healthcare professionals. This will enhance the overall quality of healthcare services across the island. And 6, peace of mind for all St. Lucians. Knowing that quality healthcare is always within reach and accessible provides a sense of security. Families will no longer live in fear of medical emergencies they cannot afford, and every child will have the opportunity to grow up healthy and strong. With the United Workers' Party, St. Lucians will certainly have a healthier future. The United Workers' Party has a proven track record of investing in St. Lucia's health sector, from improving hospital infrastructure to increasing the availability of medical resources. Our vision for St. Lucia includes a robust healthcare system where no citizen is left to suffer due to lack of accessibility or affordability. The abandonment of the NHI by the SLP was a betrayal of the people's trust, but under the United Workers' Party, we will restore this critical program because we believe in a St. Lucia where healthcare is accessible, affordable, and reliable for every citizen. When you vote for the United Workers' Party, you are voting for a healthier, stronger, and more secure St. Lucia. Your health is our priority, and we will deliver. A United Workers' Party government plans to change this situation. This crisis demands more than just words. It requires leadership action and solutions. As a government, we will take decisive steps to restore law and order, provide opportunities for our people, and take our communities back from crime and violence. We will do the following. 1, empowering our youth with after-school and weekend programs. We will introduce holistic after-school and weekend programs that keep our youth engaged in sports, music, technology, and vocational training, providing positive alternatives to crime and idleness. Number 2, creating more economic opportunities. Many of our young men turn to crime due to lack of employment, and so we will work to ensure that we provide support to small businesses, create more entrepreneurial opportunities, and provide them with training programs to help individuals become more self-sufficient. 3, we will improve access to affordable housing. We believe that poor living conditions contribute to crime, and we will upgrade and develop affordable housing to provide solutions so that families can live in safer, more stable environments. 4, we will use technology to fight crime. We will invest in CCTV surveillance networks, smart street lighting, and crime detecting technology to help deter and solve crimes more efficiently. 5, revitalizing sports and community development. We will introduce and upgrade sports facilities across the island and organize regular sporting competitions to keep our young men engaged in structured activities instead of turning to crime. And I say this given the fact that the opportunity for this to take place has been eroded by the squandering of the funds that should be used for youth and sporting activities from the National Lottery after guaranteeing a loan of $80 million and having the National Lottery to finance that loan with $80,000 monthly, leaving absolutely no resources to provide for those programs for young people. We will introduce youth rehabilitation and second chance programs. We will introduce rehabilitation programs for at-risk youth and for first-time offenders, giving them a chance to turn their lives around through education, skills training, and mentorship.
Because you must understand that St. Lucia had no new investments for a very long time, And these things are fact, the verifiable fact, as I always say. There was no new investment in this country from 2016, 2017.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre continues to push the false narrative that between 2016 and 2021, there were no new investments in St. Lucia under the United Workers' Party. But the results and facts are clear. While the world battled a global pandemic, the UWP was hard at work laying the foundation for economic growth, creating real jobs, and attracting major investments that began to transform our economy. Projects like Cabot St. Lucia, the DSH Pearl of the Caribbean, ITEL BPO, and Ojo Labs created thousands of job opportunities for young people and professionals. We welcomed Inter-Caribbean Airways, while Digicel's OECS headquarters opened up. A group of investors also began construction of the Courtyard Marriott at Point Seraphine, further boosting investor confidence.
Gentlemen, as we always do, we show our national pride and patriotism. We always start our functions with the national anthem. So I'd like to invite all of you to please stand at attention for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you very much. Could you please remain standing as I call on Mr. Foster Chico, who would lead us in a word of prayer.
God is good. All the time. All the time. God is good. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you with our hearts full of praise and thanksgiving. We invite you, Lord, in our midst and ask for your wisdom and discernment. Unite our minds in our common purpose, which is to form the next government of St. Lucia. I thank you for those who are already here, and we also thank you for those who are making their way in the traffic. And Lord, protect us after all our deliberations there. Protect us on our way back to our homes safely. This we ask you in your Son's name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Foster, for your words of prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, we would like to take some time to remember one of our fallen soldiers. I'd like us to remember Mr. Andrew Joseph of Pavey Road. Our prayers go out to his family and friends. May his soul rest in peace. And before I call on my first speaker, I'd just like to acknowledge the presence of former senator, former minister, former candidate for Castries East, Mrs. Fortuna Belrose. When they see one or two rogues, when they observe one or two rogues making their way and allowing themselves to be bought, and they tell you past candidates, not with our candidates. Let Marcella call a function and see where I am. I want to acknowledge Senator Farrah Polius, the past candidate for Denry North. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many others who are in the fold, playing their role, some behind the scene, and some like myself, Fortuna and Farah, not so behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to call her, since she have to speak, but since I'm on that page, I have to acknowledge the presence of the former representative for Castries Central, who's 100% with Rush. So like I say to you, the quality people are still here. Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome our political leader and next Prime Minister, the Honorable Alan Chastney. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I started by welcoming you, our viewers and listeners around St. Lucia and in the diaspora, but the response wasn't that warm. I suspect you feel that I'm in no position to give you a Castries East welcome. So you know what I'm going to do now? I'll bring someone who qualifies to give you a Castries East welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the chairman of the Castries East United Workers' Party branch, who will deliver the welcome to you.
Good evening. Good evening. Medi bonsoir. Me put on sort of bonsoir. Castries East. Castries Central. Southeast. Castries North. Castries South. Welcome each and every one. For our friends on the international scene, of course, we say a warm welcome to you. Those that say the diaspora, I say the international scene, you know where you are. Our friends who could not make it this evening, we're representing right here for all you. So I want to pick up our friends who are home, and they're wishing that they were here this evening in Bocage Secondary School to represent and to right the wrong come this next general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a round of applause. All right. So I see all the getting warmed up. That's very good. They say welcome remarks, so I just say welcome once again. Of course, Castries East is no stranger to all you. We have a prime minister. I have to respect him, sorry. Oh, wrong guy. We have a prime minister, and of course, you know what's happening over the last 30 years. He called himself the 5-star general. I choose this evening not to speak about him for one reason, because we have a man in waiting that will take out the problems we have in Castries East seriously on our next level. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say once again, thank you. And let's have a wonderful time in Castries East. Big up Castries Central. William, my good friend, I see you. Manners and respect. We out.
You know, I suspect it's in the voice. When I come big, I want a voice like that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was the chairman of the Castries East branch, Mr. Jordan Aline, who gave you that warm Castries East welcome. And without further ado, I would like to bring to the podium our first speaker. These days, he is in the Castries, based in the Castries Central area. But I have a little secret to tell you. He is also a former candidate of the United Workers' Party in the constituency of Soufrière-Fonsac. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on Mr. Ricky Alexander, who is a former senator, former candidate, and still a member of the United Workers' Party.
And I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone and a new day has appeared. And I am grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah.
Mama Iflamo! Brothers and sisters, we in the United Workers' Party profoundly believe that things will get bigger, better, and greater when you trust in the Lord. There is nothing that He cannot do. He will always come through when you put your trust in the Lord. Brothers and sisters, this is not merely a political slogan or a hopeful platitude. It is the very bedrock upon which the political movement of the United Workers' Party is built and anchored. We are speaking from a place of unwavering conviction that transcends mere human ambition. A belief that true progress is not just a material outcome, but a spiritual process. Human effort alone, while essential, is limited by our own frailties, our own short-sightedness, and our fleeting strength. But when we anchor our endeavors in divine trust, we wrap up a source of wisdom that is infinite, a source of strength that is unyielding, and a vision for our future that is far grander than any we could conceive on our own. Bigger, my brothers and sisters, speak of the scale of our vision, the scale of our vision that our former Prime Minister and our political leader always talks about. It is a faith that our capacity for good can expand beyond the constraints of our budget lines and policy papers. It is a belief that our compassion can grow to embrace every single citizen, that our solutions can be as vast as the challenges we face. Better speaks of the quality of our character and our governance. Trust in the Lord instills in us a moral compass to seek not what is easiest, but what is right. Mamai Flabo! For us in the United Workers' Party, we know that as it relates to the challenges ahead, it demands integrity over expediency, favoritism, justice over favoritism, and service over self-interest. It is a divine assurance that our work will be refined, purified, and to create a society that is not just wealthier, but kinder, more just, and more noble. Greater, my brothers and sisters, speak to the ultimate impact of the legacy of our work. It is a promise that our collective endeavors will yield a harvest that blesses generations to come. This greatness is not merely measured in moments, in monuments or political victories, but in the restored dignity of our people, that strengthen bonds of our communities, and a nation that stands as a beacon of hope and righteousness. Therefore, this belief is our engine and our anchor. It is the courage to dream audaciously and the humility to serve selflessly. It is the profound understanding that when we align our will with a divine purpose, we do not walk alone. We do not only work alone. We walk with God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit. By tapping into this divine source, we become instruments of a greater plan, co-creators of a future where every citizen can truly say that things are getting bigger, better, and greater because it is built on the foundation of faith. Mamai Flabo! Friends, family, citizens of Castries Central, Castries East, our diaspora family, fellow St. Lucians, now that I have laid the foundation of the spiritual aspects of our great party, the United Workers' Party, I want to remind you that we are gathered here today under the banner of the United Workers' Party, guided by the unshakable philosophy to fight the wrongs that needs resistance and to help the causes that needs assistance. Indeed, we know that the wrongs are too numerous to mention. But today, my focus is on the heart of our city, a city of immense potential, but a city that has been left adrift. As I focus on the bold new vision of Rush Clark for Castries Central, I want to remind you of the fundamental law of navigation. It reveals that anyone can steer a ship, but it takes a true captain to set the course. Far too long, our city has set sail and has been a ship adrift, without a true captain, reacting to the waves instead of chartering a course for a better future. So I say to you, my brothers and sisters, the season of drifting will soon be over when the bell rings. What we need now is a leader in Castries Central with a vision to see the destination, with a will to plot the path and a passion to guide us there. Rush Clark, my brothers and sisters, is that captain. Rush Clark's course begins with you, the vendors, the very engine of our economy. Rush Vision navigates the principles of the International Labour Organization's decent work agenda. This means moving vendors from mere survival to real prosperity with dignity, safety, and social protection. Rush will chart a course of modern facilities, fair access to capital, the respect that every vendor will get and deserve, at a cost that is neither exorbitant nor astronomical. My brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that a ship cannot thrive in waters plagued by piracy. The crime that terrorizes our communities must be met with strategic, unwavering response. Rush crime-solving strategies are a critical part of the navigation plan. It is community-based, smart, and decisive. My brothers and sisters, as I conclude, I want you to know, remember, and never forget that these two brilliant, vibrant, energetic men, Rush Clark and Chico, like the rest of the amazing team of men and women of the United Workers' Party, assembled under the vision of our great leader, Alan Michael Chasney, are equipped and ready for the mantle of leadership, ready to transform their respective constituencies and contribute meaningfully to national development. Join Rush Clark, Peter Chico, the United Workers' Party, as we get ready to transform our beloved country to new heights of peace, prosperity, and safety. So, brothers and sisters, let us sail for a brighter future with the United Workers' Party. To God be the glory.
Something good gonna happen in this year.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Yes, Ricky still has his form. You know, that's a man who entered the politics together with me in 2001. You know, and we were first-time candidates then. Always a good speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we chose this constituency tonight because here is where the fight begins. I want to know that on the night of election, the first announcement to come will be that Peter Chico is the parliamentary representative for Castries East. And I know the guy who is here don't like to hear me say it, but I will repeat it. He called himself a 6-star general. On the night of election, he will be a 6-star general. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on another local speaker. This time, I would like to call on the treasurer of Castries East Branch, Mrs. Jeanette James, who will address us. The youthful Jeanette James.
Got to find a solution to this pollution. Yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, got to find a solution to this pollution.
Mr. Leader, Mr. Alan Michael Chasney, endorsed candidates, members of the National Executive, constituency executives, friends in the diaspora, Mamai Flabo, a good evening to you all. What a bright and blessed Sunday the Lord has made. Looking out from where I stand, I am delighted to see the radiant smiles on your Flabo faces. I feel the momentum as a wave of yellow energy is rising, spreading hope and winds of change over our land. And in this moment, I know that the code is yellow. As an executive member of Castries East Constituency branch, it is with much pride and profound trust in his commitment to serve that I stand at this podium today in support of our endorsed candidate, Peter Dennis Chico. With a record of perseverance and purpose, even in the face of victimization, he has positioned himself as a servant for the people of Castries East, a humble representative who will fight for what is right. Mamai Flabo, St. Lucia is under siege from criminal gangs. Our streets are soaked in fear. Families are burying loved ones, and communities are living in constant fear of dread. Simply put, the crime situation seems to be getting worse. The police don't seem to be able to control it, and the government cannot manage its prevention. We've lived through multiple shootings in Marshall and surrounding areas of Castries East, and yet the Prime Minister, who is the elected representative for Castries East, who also happens to hold a portfolio of Minister for National Security, has remained passive, without a strategy to tackle this scourge. The Rock Hall housing project is in limbo, and the children's playground was opened last month with grand pomp and ceremony by the Prime Minister and remains closed to this day. Castries East constituency. In Peter Chico, you will find a representative who will take decisive action. One who will commit to community development in Castries East. A representative who will seek to transform communities in Castries East by investment in youth and community programs. A representative who will seek to transform the communities in Castries East, where criminals have found safe havens. Peter Chico served for 37 years in the public service within the Customs and Excise departments in management roles of administrator and acting controller of customs. He brings his expertise to help facilitate legitimate trade and travel, effective border management, and revenue collection. He has served diligently on several committees and boards locally, regionally, and internationally. He understands how local government works and how it does not. He can hit the ground running from day one of his term. His personal brand remains one of living with integrity, honesty, with a high regard for family, and serving community with transparency and accountability. Castries East has been neglected for over 25 years by a representative who calls himself, no less, the six-star general. Mamai Flabo and all registered voters in Castries East for the upcoming elections, it is vital that we vote for our values. It is also vital that we vote for change, for medical insurance, for freedom from economic hardships, for our own safety and that of our families, and for national security. Peter Chico is the solution to the pollution. Let us all go out and vote for a representative who will genuinely care for us in Castries East, and that is Peter Chico. Let us support the United Workers' Party under the leadership of Honorable Alan Michael Chasney. Let us right the wrong. PJP, ring the bell.
Thank you very much, Mrs. James. I refer to her as the youthful Mrs. James. We will right the wrong. Philip J. Pierre, that message was for you. Ring the bell. And ladies and gentlemen, talking about good representation, talking about proper representation, talking about people who deserve the honorable title, you have one in Castries Central, my God. We will have to rewrite the word. Instead of honorable, we'll have to rename him horrible. But there was a day, there was a time when we knew what it was to be honorable. There was a time when you had honorable people representing Castries Central. And I am assuring you that we will work together with those who know what it is to be honorable to bring back to the House of Assembly a representative for Castries that is honorable. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the once representative for Castries Central, when Castries Central had an honorable representative, is here with us tonight. And I would like to call the former representative for Castries and second deputy chairperson of the United Workers' Party. I still refer to her as the Honorable Sarah Flood Beaubrin to address you.
I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in.
Good night, people of Castries East. I love the energy I feel here tonight. Mama Flambeau! I want to say a special good evening to everybody at home and to all of our followers in the diaspora. Bon, Philippe J. Pierre, élection Hami, tout partout Kavin John, couillé élection. The election is ripe. Everything is getting yellow. Call the election. Philip J. Pierre touts that he has been what? Longest serving MP? It's not about the length, but the quality of your tenure. Philip J. Pierre, we're in Castries East tonight, and I would like to give you some advice. Philip J. Pierre, call the election while you may still have some dignity left. Otherwise, in a short while, you will be forced to leave in disgrace. That is what it is, because you have brought this country back in reverse. Have you ever heard that? Back in reverse. That's where you have brought this country. And you know, I feel so sorry when I see how our country is today. But curiously, I have never been more proud to be a St. Lucian. You know why? Because this country is worth fighting for. And that's why I am here today, to do battle and to fight for a country worth fighting for. Now, I've known Brother Chico for more than 45 years. We sat on the same benches at Castries Comprehensive. And in those days, it was just after Hurricane Allen. That was in 1980, right? I would have been 11 or 12 years old. And we went to school from Form 1 to Form 5 together. And if you want to know who is gentleman and who is not, ask a girl who went to school with a boy in a mixed school. Because when you know people before they had any plans of being anything, that's when you know them. And Peter Chico was a gentleman from the time he was a boy. And for this reason, I will not take my time to compare him with Philip J. Pierre. I think the people of Castries East already know who they have, and that's why there's this fire here tonight. And while I'm on the candidates, I want to acknowledge and thank Rosh Clark for the work he's doing in Castries Central. I want to thank him for his sincerity, for his integrity, for his honesty, for his charity, for his gentleness, for his genuine love and concern for the people of Castries Central. And listen to this. I'm talking now to the people of Castries Central, whose my history, who have written pages of the history of Sarah Flood Bowman in politics. You are written in my heart, the people of Castries Central. This is where I made my entrance into politics, and that's where I had the honor and pleasure of serving. And I will be on the ground doing battle in Castries Central. But tonight, what I want to say to the people of Castries Central is, Richard Frederick is not good enough for United Workers' Party. We fired him a long time ago. Richard Frederick is not good enough for Labour. For 5 years, they cannot even now accept him in their party. He's not good for UWP, he's not good for Labour, he's not good for Castries Central. So, Rosh, we will bring that seat home. Because the people of Castries Central deserve no less. Now, I know very soon they'll tell me my time is up. But I want to talk a little bit more about leadership. You know, and I'm just going to go on the crime issue for a little bit and then talk about the issue of women in this country. So at the last live, I spoke about how Philip J. Pierre is so inept and his government. So they want to tell us, well, first of all, remember, Kenny Anthony said, ask the criminals to give the people a break for Christmas. So Labour never had an answer to crime, never. Philip J. Pierre now comes. He is the Minister for National Security. He is the Prime Minister, meaning the first of all ministers. There is something called ministerial responsibility. It means the buck stops with you. So he comes and tells us crime is a regional issue. I dealt with that. So he's waiting for the region to have a solution. Then he tells us It's a public health issue. So now he wants Musa to deal with it. And you know what I heard this week? They're calling the criminals merchants of crime. So you're pas criminal, they're not murderers who need to be dealt with, but now they are merchants of crime. People, we are in big, big trouble. Let me tell you what a leader does. First of all, a leader has answers. A leader has real answers to problems. Secondly, if the leader doesn't have the answer, the leader knows where to find the answer. And thirdly, if there is no answer, a leader creates an answer. This is a leader, Alan Chester. So the people of Castries East, you have a big responsibility in this election. The United Workers' Party has presented you with a candidate that you can trust and who is capable. And you have a big job to do in this election. We heard this week, brothers and sisters, we heard this week about the results of Tyson's postmortem. Just to show you how you cannot expect any integrity from this government. I could not believe it. The results of the postmortem said Tyson did not die by rat poisoning. So rat poisoning is the only poison that can kill a dog. And and by the way, Tyson is already cremated. So that's the end of that story. And Philip J. Pierre comes and tells us they will get a dog from a French country. He didn't say from the French government, because we have burnt our relations with the French government over this. He said they'll get a dog from a French country. He didn't say if it was Côte d'Ivoire, if it was Benin, if it was Gabon in Africa. But he tells us from a French country, as if everything is okay. Everything is not okay. And then the second thing we heard this week was about the fact that those brave police officers, women, who alleged that they were sexually abused by a high-ranking police officer who was our acting commissioner of police, that case is closed. Just like that. Just like that. So those brave women who went out and reported a sexual crime, something that is so difficult to report. Look at what is happening in this country at the highest level. And look at the case of Eldridge Charles. I want to focus today on Eldridge Charles's courage, what she did. Eldridge Charles went into the parliament to ask questions. She dared to go to the parliament and to ask questions. She asked for permission to be there so that she could interview ministers of government. She dared to do that. I want to acknowledge the courage and the grace with which she did it. And now we are hearing that there was a lineup. There was an identification parade where she positively identified Ernest Hilaire as the perpetrator of the alleged crime. And then now, silence. We hear that the matter is with the Director of Public Prosecutions. We are calling on the police to give us an update on this matter. Women of St. Lucia, we need to stand up. Women of St. Lucia, we are tired. We are tired. When I speak, I think today of Rosa Parks. That woman, that 42-year-old woman, she was the one who really started the civil rights movement. It's after she refused to stand up on that bus that Martin Luther King was found. She was a seamstress. She was an ordinary woman. Maybe when she left her home that day, she didn't even think that she would be taking that stand. But you know what? She was tired. You know, people think that she was tired because she was tired of work. No, she was tired of oppression. She was tired of her silence and giving in. She was tired of the injustice. She was tired of being second place in her own country. She was tired of having no hope and no future. She was tired. And I know that there are many women today who, like me, are tired. And what am I tired of? I am tired of no answers. I'm tired of a 2.5% levy they lied to us about. I'm tired of the barbecues and the bake sales and the country and western dances to raise funds for health care. I'm tired of that. I am tired of the blood in the streets. I'm tired of it. Muelas, nulas. What I want to tell the women of St. Lucia today, and I'm speaking to women because Leo fam las, Leo fam diwilas, expect anything. I'm putting Philip J. Now, Philip J. Pierre has been caught because he said, I said he's a racist. Moi, l'audience jodi ya, puis Philip J. Pierre porte plainte contre moi. I have heard so many people call Philip J. Pierre a racist. Et qui poko faire hier. C'est moi qui pas là-bas. Quoi il porte plainte contre moi et moi l'audience a boise puis Philip J. Pierre. So women, moi ka di moi las. And what I want us to do tonight, there's nothing great that starts without a woman starting it. Because now when nous Japonais and we get together is give us room. And we're starting here tonight in Castries East. You see the fire I feel here in Castries East? Moi Dieu. Jik SLP ka las, Jean Lasse puis Philippe J. Seriously, you know, I spoke with 2 strong SLPs this week. And what they told me, I was so shocked I didn't let them see my face. People who used to argue with me every day they saw me. You know what they tell me? They're not voting. So they're starting to move. They're not voting. That is not enough. We have to right the wrong. So, Philippe J. Pierre, comme dit, élection Hami. Tout partout, Calvin John. Call the election. election. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she still has the fire. That was Sister Sarah telling you like it is. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I heard Philip J. Pierre making an address to the public servants a few days ago, and he was talking about the fact that he'll be making about 200 public servants permanent. Mais monsieur imbécile tellement. Makwa monsieur sa kopon ni anglais ni créole. He's saying to them that that move is draconian and it is a leap of faith. Monsieur, somebody who has a fair idea of English, explain to Philip J. Pierre what he said. Because the idiot doesn't even realize he condemned his own actions by calling it draconian and saying that it was a leap of faith, which means that was a blind move on his part. But, you know, you can't expect anything. Now, I heard Richard criticizing our leader today, Thursday, saying, or was it Richard or the other sidekick, the idiot who is with Richard? Alan Shastney said he have a degree in economics, and he can't even say exercise, he said exercise. Well, the excise tax they have on us not good, but exercise is always good. But you have been a minister of national security. You appointed yourself as Minister of National Security for over 4 years now. And every time, almost every day, we have a murder in this country. And you come in and talk about homicide. Nobody will tell you it's homicide. If you cannot even get the word right, you think it's the situation you will get right? Boo Gwen. Ladies and gentlemen, I heard Sister Sarah say they had somebody in a lineup. Let you know at a lineup at a call guard, at a police station, by a criminal killer. So, the people who are in a lineup because they are accused of assaulting women, we don't want them in our parliament. And so, I will give the people, the United Workers' Party, but as a member, let me say, I will give the people of Castries South a young, competent, vibrant, law-abiding representative to give them proper representation. Sarah Di Moon last. Où savent ça c'est Jean Castries South la last? Your last corruption about parliamentary representatives, tous les semaines c'est corruption. CIP, corruption. DSH, corruption. You can parler about DSH. GPH, corruption. Tout bagay c'est corruption. Let's bring clean representation to Castries South. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the man, the next parliamentary representative of Castries South. Are you ready? You ready to take over from Ihona Sile? Tommy Descat, your next parliamentary representative.
Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh, yeah. Why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? Oh no. So many sons lost in the slaughter, blood running in the streets like water. I've got in hand, no friend, no. Warmongers selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of we children. Can you tell me when will it end? How many more die? Must carry this load?
Good night. People from Castries East. You know, Peter, last Sunday, I heard they say that I was in Castries East canvassing, trying to get rid of the political leader or the prime minister. But you see, the person who said that knows that Tommy Descat is way more popular than him. And I can go in any constituency and canvass in any constituency. But what they didn't know, that this young man was born in the East. I was born in Pave, my brother. And I left Pave maybe 34 years ago. And Pave is worse than today than it was 44 years ago. And how many years has this prime minister, political leader, been the member or the rep for Castries East? All right. But I will tell you something, brothers and sisters, Chico. I fought long and hard to come here tonight. Because if there's any place other than the 5th floor of Graham Lewis building that is an escalated crime zone, it is Castries East. It's serious. And if you can, and that is why, you know, we have to be serious about this election, you know. Every time I walk through this country, you know, my heart breaks, brothers and sisters. You see, we have a government who has not dealt with any of the fundamental issues in our country. Not health, not cost of living, not crime. And now we're hearing merchants of crime. What that means is that they have accepted that there is a crime economy in this country. That's what I heard. They have youth economy, but they have accepted that there is a crime economy in this country. And when we see all the maneuverings in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, you have to ask yourself, what's happening to our country? This is serious. This is serious, my brothers and sisters. But, you know, I will not go down to Ernest Hiller's gutter politics. He has been calling me names. My brother, my advice is come up to my level, my brother. Don't waste time. Come up to my level and let's have the real discussions. I ain't going in no gutter. Come up. Let's hear the policies now. You know, and that is why I am so excited to be part of a team of men and women under the stewardship of Alan Michael Chastney. You know, we announced what I think is one of the most transformational policies that is going to impact the lives of young men and women in this country. That tuition will be free. And you know, tit for tat politics, Philip J. Place, he come and announce the early childhood thing. But my brothers and sisters, this policy, and I will tell you something, the United Workers' Party was working already on this policy. We knew that we had almost 4,000 or so children who were not going to early childhood centers. And we were working assiduously to resolve it. But we understood the challenges. But you know, Philip J. Pierre, he just wants a smoke screen. Flash something before your eyes. We understood that it will take time. And that is why we said, you know what? We are going to deliver on the tertiary education for our country. This is $3,000
that Milan Alexander, a young man who is now studying mechanical engineering, doesn't have to worry about next year. You see, my brothers and sisters, I will tell you something. Now, I ain't a MIP thing, you know. We're going to deal with some policy tonight, quick. Come up to my level, my brother. St. Lucia is at a critical juncture in its life, my brothers and sisters. It's serious. And if we do not invest in our young men and women now, we will be in trouble as a nation. I'm telling you. You know, I admire this man, Alan Chasney's ability, you know, to dissect issues. When we were having this policy discussion, the gentleman knew the subvention that was going to I'll deal with SLASPA later on, to Sir Arthur, off the top of his head. He said, 15, and we're giving 19 now. I had to rush, and now, I am not so good in the memory, I'll tell you that. But he knew it. And he said, we need to invest $40 million a year to take Sir Arthur Lewis where it ought to go. Yeah. And that's why we believe that tokenized approach, that T-boutique approach, that block a hole approach can't work. And we committed that we were going to have $6 million in the next financial year when we win the election. So, when I did the calculations, over our next 5 years, boss, it's going 10,000 young persons will benefit from tuition. Yes. And that equates to 60 million directly impacting the future of our country. Investing in young people. So, I am very, very, very proud to be part of this team. And when I do my little history, I found out that it is a United Workers' Party that implemented Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. You know, what irks the Labour Party people the most is when I tell them, this thing, St. Lucia, this country, St. Lucia, it is the product, the brainchild of a UWP. I'm telling you, everything that is unique to St. Lucia, it was conceptualized and executed and delivered by the United Workers' Party. They can't. They can't. You know, I have deep admiration for Rush. Yeah, I have deep admiration for young Rush. You know, and I call you, you are the David of this squad, my brother. And we all know what David did. You know, I will tell you something. You know, Goliath was taunting the children of Israel for 40 days, 30 or 40 days. Every morning he came up and was taunting them. Yeah. We have another Goliath down the road there. Every Thursday night, taunting the people of St. Lucia. But I know young Rush, young David, you have the 5 stones, my brother. Integrity, honesty, courage, love, compassion. You will destroy him, my brother. Don't worry. That slingshot ready, my brother. That slingshot ready. And let me tell you something. It is not you that will do it. The Lord will use you. The Lord will use you. So my brothers and sisters, that's why you see Chico. That's why I call him the stepping razor. Rock of Gibraltar.
meticulous, you know. Absolutely. I mean, when Chico sits with me and starts to give me information, man, it's information overload. This is a man who dots his I's and crosses his T's. I'm telling you. And that's why I have always felt that the Castries Basin, if St. Lucia is to be transformed, we must deal with the Castries Basin. All indications have shown that the Castries Basin is in trouble. I'm telling you. The poverty level in Castries is alarming. The level of crime is alarming. I'm telling you, if you walk through Castries, and that is why tonight, I didn't speak to my political leader about that, you know. I will call it the Castries East Declaration. The Castries East Declaration. Over the next 5 years, you will see investments in Castries, the basin, like you've never seen before. From north, east, south, central. We have to take the basin. My brothers and sisters, there is no doubt the future is brighter when the future is yellow. So, you know, I don't speak for long. Some have asked me, where have you been, Tommy? Where have you been? I am refueling. Because I'm telling you, this election is at a very strategic phase now. Don't get intimidated by all the rallies they're doing. Don't get intimidated by that. And I wonder where they get the money to do them rallies back to back to back to back. All right. That's the answer I want to know. What do you say, my sister, CIP? Okay. Now let me tell you something. You know, the great Arthur Lewis had a model called invitation, development by invitation, right? My definition for CIP is corruption by invitation. That's what it is, you know. But you know, the seriousness about this is that the resources from CIP is only a windfall. And you cannot use it anyhow. That's why they tell you, pay down your debt. And let me deal with the debt issue, Dom, first. Quick. Your opponent, my good friend, keeps saying that when the Labour Party took over, that our debt to GDP was above 100%. I challenge you, my brother. Now, he claimed it was in the IMF Article 4 of 2022. I challenge you, my brother. Show me where. Show me where in the Article 4 that St. Lucia's debt was over 100%. Never. But you see, they conveniently maneuver and twist the truth. But you know, let me tell you something. You know, if COVID were to hit St. Lucia right now, and our economy were to contract by 25% right now, you know, our debt would be above 100%. The reality is that Philip J. Pierre has not dealt with any of the big issues in our country. He has not resolved crime. He has not resolved health. He has not resolved the cost of living. All he knows how to play is politics. Now, I will close quickly. I saw something a couple of weeks ago. I saw the Blue Boy. They were moving Blue Boy. I had to ask some questions about what's going on. They're pushing this big
big thing down cul-de-sac. Now, I did a research. Now, mind you, Sir John challenged the purchase of this particular instrument years ago. I was told that this was a used thing that they came and bought for millions, and Sir John challenged it. But Mike, the first question that came to me, who bought the Blue Boy? Boy, that raises some real alarm bells for me. But hear that, I know that he didn't just buy the Blue Boy. He bought the little black boy too. And he bought the little red boy too. So my brothers and sisters, this election is the most consequential election in our history. And they will do anything within their power to stay in power. But I know the God I serve. I know the God we serve. When the votes are cast and the ballots are counted, I know the next Prime Minister of this country will be Alan Michael Shastney. Thank you very much and good night.
Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh yeah, why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can see for yourself the kind of firepower we have in the lineup of the United Workers' Party. You know, Tommy talked about Sir for Lewis, and he said young people going to benefit from that. I say, Tommy, in your mouth, old people benefiting from it too. People like me, that grandfather, the little change just putting aside to send my grandchild to suffer now on holiday extra. But you see, they try to counteract by coming and telling the people of St. Lucia they will be giving an allowance to early childhood education in St. Lucia. But when you take stock, most of our preschools are privately owned. So what is the intention here? I am telling you that is a communist move. Because soon from now, those privately owned preschools will have to be closed down. Because when government starts to subsidize government-owned preschools, they will not be able to compete and match the government schools. So the privately owned preschools will have to go under, putting St. Lucians out of business. Another communist move. But you need not fear. You need not fear. Because we have the Castries 5 who will be starting the show in the next general election. And in case you're wondering who is the Castries 5, you just heard one a while ago, Tommy Descat for Castries South. We have here with us Stephen Fevrier from Castries North. We have Guy Joseph, Castries South East. We have Peter Chico from Castries East. And we have Rush Charles from Castries Central. The Castries 5 making a clean sweep this election. And you know, talking about the Castries 5, the last one I mentioned was Rush Clark from Castries Central. But I just have to copy what Tommy just said there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the David of the United Workers' Party, the giant slayer, the man himself, Rush Clark, the next parliamentary representative for Castries Central, who will get rid of Richard Frederick once and for all. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, Fanza, Mama, I flambeau, quel guapo have to go. Rush and let you. Dance I tell you too much papi show. Too much backward we say no. If Castries have to grow, no ni puti el papo. Ek me they rush like a let you. Rush. Put my mic flambo, let we rush to the yellow. El papo have to go. Dance and now Frederick you fail us. For talking you famous. Election coming again. This time you cannot play us. Rush club come to save us. Only crumbs you gave us, yo. Watch how we crucify the youth, Richard, you nail us. Umbrella for the rain, make the city good again. All get to use together, we seen bro.
Mamai Flabo! Mamai Flabo! Good night, my people. My people of Castries Central, Castries East, Castries North, Castries South. And for every St. Lucian listening from far and wide, good night. I welcome you. But I stand before you with no mask and no filter. Because today, I am here to only speak the raw truth. We all see it and we all feel it. Day in and day out. The lies, the corruption, and the cowardice of this government and its representatives. But I want to say this loud and clear so there is no confusion. Those that did not know, they will learn something today. Let us start with the Prime Minister. He has spoken and we have heard. But tonight, I am holding him at ransom for every word that came out of his mouth. Because he has selected the individuals that will be coming up for the next election. 15 Labour candidates and 2 so-called independents. Now some of you might tell me that the independent candidates are cut from the same cloth. I'm here to tell you there is a difference. And if you didn't know, well, now you know it. On one hand, you have Stephenson King. Some of you call him the sellout. Some of you call him the snake. Now, you might be right, but I have noticed that this man carries his umbrella to shelter him from the storm that this government has been pouring down on this country. But can somebody, anybody, explain to me what in the world is an independent labor? No, I'm serious. I am very serious. We need to adopt a mentality in this country. Fool me once, shame on you. But fool me, you can't fool me again. And I'm saying this because it seems to us what the Labour Party is saying to this specific independent Labour is that you are part of the family, you just cannot come inside. No matter how you cut it, that is embarrassing. It is truly embarrassing. After all the time and energy you have invested in speaking and making up these lies, concocting these propagandas, and making up these fake stories on "Can I help you?" They still have you as an outcast. And you're running right now, running through the city, attacking mothers, vendors, wives, and even Tyson. My brother, you're a special breed. But here's the scary part, this Labour government is also scared that this misrep can turn around and attack them too. So they have to put him somewhere. But if you didn't know, now you know. Mr. Prime Minister, it is obvious to us all that you need advice on how to command respect. So I will give you the Rush Lesson 101. And I am telling you in advance that it ain't no kind of schoolboy politics. Do not stand there and gill, laugh like it's a joke. You were placed in a position to be the country's commander-in-chief. And it has been an embarrassment. I want you to do something. Stand up. Look Richard Frederick in the eye. I'm not sure which eye, but just in case, pick the right one. Pick the right one. Pick the right one. Pick the right one. I want you to stand up. I'm serious, you know. I want you to stand up and look Richard Frederick in the eye and tell him, you can wear the color, but you cannot be a member. Now you know him already. He will look at you and tell you, why? Say, I prefer to keep garbage outside than bring it inside. I am schooling you, my brother. In reality, you need to grow up here. You cannot be afraid. This is savannah politics. And you are experiencing the Rush Lesson 101. Any snake, any black hat lion, any one-eyed dragon, I have a cage for all of you. I have a cage for all of you. And since the six-star general cannot seem to get the point, I have a few questions to ask you. Mr. Prime Minister, where were you when the women of this country were being insulted? Mr. Prime Minister, where were you when the hard-working vendors were being victimized? Mr. Prime Minister, where were you when the lives of our citizens were hanging in the balance? When a city was under siege, innocent bystanders were being shot in broad daylight. When I look at the stage of misrepresentation we have, one word comes to mind. Now I want you to hear me carefully. One word comes to mind. It's called pusillanimous. It means cowardly. It means spineless. And it means weak. When a misrepresentative can take his time and disrespect our women and hide behind the numerous allegations that surround sexual assault, domestic violence, and sexual harassment, I call that pusillanimous representation. And my people, if you didn't know, you're learning something new today, you know. Now look here. Look here. When the misrepresentative who masquerades as an independent labor is hitting below the belt, some of us remain memorized. So I do not want any kind of sentiment when I go in for the heads. But before I go down that road, I want to deal with this caravan scandal. The nonsense that Richard Frederick has to offer. Imagine Richard Frederick is parading out 22 caravans and he's calling it empowerment. My people, what you are seeing in front of you is first-hand daylight robbery. And the audacity it takes for you to feel that you can fool all of us to bring on a lease-to-own little box caravan. You heard the price, my people? $1,800 for a little box caravan. $1,800 for 42 months for a little box caravan. That is summing up to $75,600 for a little box caravan. That same caravan cost this government under $20,000, and they're selling it for you for $75,600. You heard the disrespect? You understand the disrespect? Every single dollar that this misrepresentative has spent, he's demanding nearly $4 from the mouths of our people. But I want to go off script for a second. Because while I come in here, someone asked me, Rosh, how confident you feel? My brother, I've given you so much licks this election. I've given you so much licks this election. I've given you what they call the Rosh Special Knockout. It's called the Special Rosh Knockout. Call it the RKO. That means you're getting it at every corner. Pick a polling station. Any one of them. After it is so hard for our vendors to earn an honest dollar, you telling me under this Labour government you want to come and present an offer like that? Ah, Richard. Body kai pinu. Blatant greed, blatant selfishness from a man of your caliber. You have no caliber. You are squeezing the very life out of the working class people of Castries Central. And the only vision that this man had, and I must say it here, is a vision that is circumvented, that circulates, and is all about his own agenda. But you know, my people, I must be honest with you for a second. I must continue to be honest with you. We, the people of the United Workers' Party, will revive, rebuild, and restore this city. Castries East, Castries North, and Castries South. And I can tell you, these constituencies, they need to breathe again. They need to be liberated. And especially in the city, they need this liberation from the traffic congestions, the factors that contribute to the cluster and disorder. A true housing development program will be established. And you wait and see. We, the people of the United Workers' Party, have it coming. One that will change and provide dignity to the people in these ghettos. And when I say affordable housing, I'm not talking about the $1,800 rent that is choking the necks of our vendors. I want us to take us a second, because every time I hear about what these vendors go through, I remember the words of our queen of culture, Cécile Descartes. Zot connaître. Mais oui, savoué. Who want to start it? Savoué. Say it with me. May we serve way. That is right. But I challenge anyone here. What revolutionary change has any of these misrepresentatives brought about that can actually create an economic shift in their constituencies? Absolutely nothing. Because all I see from my misrepresentative is cosmetic governance. No matter the stench and the decay, no matter the health crisis, no matter the crumbling structural integrity, no matter the poverty in Castries Central, the RF treatment remains the same. 1 coat primer, 2 coats paint. And God forbid, anyone has an opinion or is disgruntled with the lack of consideration, they get in all coats of Powell JT on a Thursday night. It is a shame, my people. All jokes aside, it is a shame. We have lost our ground as a people. When the benchmark for representation has Richard Frederick as a standard, what do we leave for our youth? What do we leave for our young people? What is it that they have to look forward to? Have we become so accustomed to abuse? Have we become so accustomed to disrespect? Have we become numb? My people, I know we can do better. And we will do better. And for any one of you that was wondering, Roche Clark is signed, he's sealed, and he's ready to deliver the vision that is necessary for this capital. And I say this, come next election, in the ballot box, the dragon Richard Frederick will be defeated. The dreams of better housing will be executed. The safety and security of our people will be protected. The jobs for our youth, unemployed and vulnerable, will be created. And I want us all to come out and vote. Vote for the purpose, the passion, and the promise for a prosperous new future. Thank you.
I tell them too much papi show, too much backward we say no. If Castries have to grow, no ni puti el guapo ek me te rush kakale yo. Rush, tout ma my flambeau, let we rush to the yellow. El guapo have to go, I tell you too much papi show, too much backward we say no. If Castries have to grow, no ni puti el guapo ek me te rush kakale yo. Rush, tout ma my flambeau, let we rush to the yellow. El guapo have to go, is that he not feeling we pain? Here another mother.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the David who is going to ensure that in the Castries Basin, no snake, no black hat lion, no one-eyed dragon survive come the next general election. And you know, when Tommy was talking about Blue Boy, that big thing on the wharf that is used, that is not working anymore. All the time I think I'm talking about Stephen King, you know. You know. But ladies and gentlemen, we have the answer. We have the antidote for the snake. Because I told you the Castries 5 are making a clean sweep come the next general election. And we know that there's a high concentration of the merchants of crime in the Castries Basin. To my understanding, if you are a merchant of crime, that means you do business with criminals. Who are the merchants of crimes in government? Well, I'll tell you what. Enough is enough. We have called for the bell to be rung. And as soon as that bell is rung, all expired goods will be swept off the shelf. Ladies and gentlemen, from Stephen's son to Steve himself, we are going to give you the real deal because you know we can do better. In Castries North, ladies and gentlemen, there is something new coming. Those 28-year-old still politicians in View Fort, in Castries East, in Castries North, it's time to get rid of them. Please help me welcome the new breed, the competent politicians that the UWP has uncovered and who is going to bring about the transformation in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, here is one of them. The man, Stephen Favre, the next parliamentary representative for Castries North.
All I can see around us is just violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. So let the sun shine throughout every day. Let the moon shine through the peaceful night. This is 7 times rise and 7 times fall. But I don't really believe in the falling things at all. Cause life continues as it goes. If you really want to know the truth, the truth isn't being told. No, 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 no. So I said, these are some serious times. All I can see around us is this violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize.
But my flabo, it is indeed good to be here with you in Bocage this evening to stand in support of my two friends, Peter Chico. Let me hear it for Peter. And Roche Clark, who just gave an outstanding presentation. But more importantly, two representatives who will make history in the forthcoming general election. Permit me also to recognize the political leader, Alan Chasney, our visionary leader who will be the next Prime Minister of this country. I bring to you this evening warm and pleasant greetings from your neighbors in Castries North, your neighbors who are also on the road to returning the United Workers' Party to government come the next general elections. For many of us here, the journey has been a long one. The journey has not been easy, but the appointed date, the appointed time is not far away when we will restore this country and get the Labour Party out of government. You know, over the past number of months, I've been spending a lot of time talking to the people of Castries North, speaking to the people of my constituency, hearing from them directly the things that affect them, the things that they would like to see, the things they want, the things they need. And really, in these conversations, what they want, what they're asking for is not excessive. Some want footpaths, proper drainage, better water supply, simple things. Some are asking for better housing or even materials so they could fix up and improve their homes. And for most, the response is the same. In Castries North, only one set of people are benefiting. Only one set of people are eating. I am hearing from some that they feel abandoned, that they cannot reach the MP, that their calls go unanswered, that their pleas for help have been ignored. But tonight I want to declare here and now that with your help, you will have proper representation, hard-working representation, someone who is not lazy, and someone who will fight for you. So, I think most of you last week saw in Odsa last Sunday, the other party presented 17 of their candidates on stage. And of course, Stephenson King was again endorsed by Philip J. Pierre and the Labour Party to be their man who will contest the next general elections. A man, Philip J. Pierre, told St. Lucia and all of the world that Steve is a man in whom he is well pleased. And in presenting Stephenson King to the Labour team, Pierre announced that finally the Leclerc Square will be refurbished and redone. Really? Really? After all these years of neglect, at the 11th hour, King and Pierre will rehabilitate the square? Have they not been listening and hearing the cries of the residents for the past years? But this only reminds me of my days as a student when the teacher would give us homework on a Friday and tell us to prepare it for Monday. But instead of doing our work, we were busy playing the fool and being lazy. And on Monday morning, we were on the bus going to school trying to do the work which we should have done over the weekend. I don't know about you, but the students that took that lazy approach to their work always failed and always got reprimanded by the teacher. The teacher would say that this is not acceptable and too little, too late. But if that was not bad enough, last night I saw concrete being poured on the Leclerc playing field. Really? Really? Is that what the residents of Leclerc deserve? After ignoring their cries, the cries of the people, they are now rushing work that the people have been begging for years. Too little, too late. Some of you would have also seen a video that I posted to my social media highlighting the dismal state of the health center in Leclerc. You know, that health center is one I'm familiar with. And I could tell you, it is worse today. The conditions are worse today than it was 40 years ago. So under the video, a prominent Labour Party supporter questioned me, so only now the health center in a mess? It wasn't a mess under UWP? But the answer is yes, that is correct. But ask yourself, who was the representative of the UWP for all those years since 1987? Almost 40 years of unbroken representation by Stephenson King. Failure, failure, failure. So now I am certain there will be some last-minute attempt to upgrade the health center. But again, the people of Castries North will say loud and clear, too little, too late. I want the residents of Castries North that I have a plan for you, a plan that respects you, a plan that will take care of your needs, from sports infrastructure to jobs to housing. We will work together to improve your life and create new opportunities. I will not disrespect you by coming at the 11th hour to do the work that you elected me to do. Too little, too late. But before I close, I want to share a short story about a lady, a friend of mine from BZ, who is a very strong supporter of the United Workers' Party, a good person. So I noticed that over the last 3 weeks I haven't heard from her, so I called her. I couldn't get her, so I called her son in Martinique. and he said to me that she was in the hospital. I was only to find out some really terrible news that she had a very aggressive form of cancer. So I put everything down and I rushed to the hospital to see my friend. Her face beamed despite her pain. She smiled with me, and she told me that she was comfortable and the nurses and doctors were treating her well. But she said that she was stressed. So I thought it's normal that she would be worried about her health. But you know what? It was not her pain that was the source of her stress. It was not the cancer. She was worried about how she would meet those medical bills. A 73-year-old woman who has worked all her life, played by the rules, took care of her responsibility, took care of her family, paid her taxes, is fighting the fight of her life, but is now more concerned about her medical bills than the treatment that she must receive. St. Lucia, how could that be right? How could that be right? But there's good news. Under our plan, the 7SOS, the United Workers' Party will introduce health insurance for all. That means if you get sick, the insurance company will pay up to $75,000 per year for your treatment. If you are no longer working, if you are a pensioner, if you are a civil servant, the government will pay your monthly premium. And if you're working, the premium will be split between your employer and you in a similar way that you make your contribution to the NIC. And from what I've been told, it could be as little as $100 a month. That means if you get sick, you don't have to worry about the doctor's bill. If you need a regular checkup, you can go to the doctor with confidence. If you need medication, you don't want to worry about how you're going to pay for it. Tell me, is this not better than the Jabba-Sack healthcare that the Labour Party has proposed? In closing, let me say to the people of Castries North, to the people of Castries Central, to the people of Castries East, to the people of St. Lucia, change is coming. Change is coming. If you elect us, the United Workers' Party, into government, we will fight for your interests. We will fight for your children. We will fight for this country. We will not be lazy. We will do the work that you would have elected us to do. And I ask you, when the bell is rung, you go out to the ballot box and you tell Stevenson King and the Labour government, too little. I thank you.
All I can see around us is violence and crime.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the next rep for Castries North, the man Stephen February. You know, too little, too late. But it's not too late to ring the bell. And it's not too late to make the change. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, the Prime Minister is touting all over the place that he cares about people and is putting people first. Now, under your watch, Mr. Prime Minister, you appointed a Minister of National Security, and he has set record upon record for the highest numbers of homicides in this country. I have called upon you to, for the first time since your tenure began, to do at least one good deed for St. Lucians. Fire the Minister of National Security. Secondly, if you care about us, how come the police that is supposed to protect us, after Alan Chastain's administration put in place insurance for our police officers, 7 months now, you not paying the insurance. So if a police officer gets killed right now, for me, Bagashwen, I am. That's how you care about us? So you expect those police officers to put themselves in harm's way to protect us when you not taking care of the responsibilities you have as Minister of National Security, Minister of Finance, and Prime Minister of this country? Well, like Stephen told you, enough is enough. We are making the change come the next general election. And there are two good things you can do. After you have dismissed the Minister of National Security, do the whole of St. Lucia a big favor. Philip Pierre, ring the bell. And when you ring the bell, Castries East will be getting a brand new parliamentary representative. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the man that I'm going to bring to speak to you now, Peter Chico, who will defeat Philip Pierre in the next general election.
Chico we one day. Bocage, Boboville, Tiroche. Chico we one day. Bishop Gap, Bakatel, Pave. Chico we one day. Menadil, Antripo, Black Malay. Chico we one day. United Workers Party, that's who we want. Chico. To take care of the country, that's who we want. Chico. Peter Chico, that's who we want. Chico. To take us out of misery, that's who we want. Chico. Say what you want, we voting who we want. United Workers Party, it's Chico that we want. Say what you want, we voting who we want. United Workers Party, it's Chico that we want. Chico, Chico, Chico. That's the man there. Chico, Chico, Chico. That's the man there. Chico, Chico, Chico. That's the man there. Chico, Chico, Chico.
Good evening to everybody. Castries East. Castries East. Are we ready to move this Prime Minister out of Castries East? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say tonight, thank you. Thank you for coming. I want to congratulate everybody for being here tonight. Because tonight, I am about to put it down. Tonight will be a very good night. And I also want to ensure the citizens of St. Lucia that the Castries 5, we are going to set a record in this country. The Castries 5, we are going to take over this country. We are going to set the pace. And I want to assure you all, the first seat I want to fall in this election is the seat of Castries East. I want to say good evening to all St. Lucians here and in the diaspora. Good evening to the people of Castries East. It is indeed a pleasure being here. And tonight, I want to take this time to address the people of Castries East. I think this is the first live that have happened in Castries East in 5 years or so. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been long overdue. We are here to send a message to Philip J. Pierre. I want to take this time to address specifically the elder folks and youth of Castries East. I am extremely excited with the 7 SOS Save Our St. Lucia plans introduced by our visionary leader, Alan Michael Chesney. I am particularly excited about the implementation of the National Health Insurance, the immediate implementation of the border control and expansion of the K-9 unit, as well as the free tuition for all students attending the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. You see, as I go around the constituency of Castries East,
I see many of our elder folks suffering with all sorts of ailments and medical issues, and that pains my heart. So let me give you a story. I recently received a call from a friend in the USA who asked that I reach out to a fellow supporter of the United Workers' Party who needed medical assistance. I had a conversation with the lady and agreed to assist her. I was informed that the medication was only available in Castries and someone would be coming up to Castries to purchase on her behalf. Thankful for my assistance, she maintained contact with me practically every day. I would receive a prayer or thanks from her every single day. Since I had never met her, I promised that I would call her for instructions to her home to visit her. I always returned home every time I went to her area, coming back home, and I have never been able to see her. After a few weeks, I had not received a message. I sent her a message, and I said, I have not heard you in a while, so I promise you I will be in your area tomorrow, and I will make it my duty to come visit you. I received an instant response. The response said, my mother passed. A simple message, my mother passed. Me not understanding the message, thinking is her mother, because I had never met her. I responded, I am so sorry, accept my condolences. While watching television the same day, I saw a photo with the same name from the same area. Ladies and gentlemen, when I saw the photo, I made a call to a friend of mine in the area just to ask whether or not that was the same person that I was supposed to meet the following day. I got a response that broke my heart. The person told me she did pass 2 days before. My brothers and sisters, I am certain if this lady had that $75,000 of health insurance just so that she could have purchased that medication, I guarantee you this lady would have been with us and to see her children and her grandchildren grow. The cost of the medication is $500 for 1 month's supply. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I think I am here today. This is my calling. I say to the people of Castries East, upon assuming office, the United Workers' Party, under the visionary leadership of Mr. Alan Michael Shastney, we will implement a national healthcare insurance for every St. Lucian. Our elderly and sick deserves better. I know a few people with the same situation, and I promise you all, I will not forget visiting you all. I will come to visit you all, guaranteed. Pakite se le basa kwene zotu sa. Moi asiwe yo tout besoin insurance sa pour sauver la vie yo même. So pakite yo kwene ou. My people, when they finish, they say they put in us first. These guys don't like us. They don't like us. Your life is valuable, and you must do what is necessary to ensure that you get the health care you deserve. C'est pour ça que nous avons créé tout citoyen cette ici. Yo zot tout. Expressement zot Castries East. Les arrivés pour zot voter pour la vie zot et pour santé zot. This is why we call on everyone to vote for life and that of your family members who need the healthcare insurance. This also goes out to the young persons in Castries East, because as I look around Castries East, I always ask myself, what has gone wrong? I remember the old days while playing football in Marchand with the CYO football team, led by Mr. Arnold Clouden. Residents of Castries East look forward to reaching the Mindu Philip Park and the Masha grounds before the football games were over. On weekends, they would make it their duty to spend the entire weekend on these grounds to watch entertaining football. During these days, there was discipline, friendship, and respect for everybody. And it was safe to go out in the constituency of Castries East. Castries East was a bustling constituency where families were free to go out without any fear. The vendors of the communities were able to ply their trade and take care of their families. However, as a result of the neglect by the district representative of Castries East over 30 years, he happened to be the current Prime Minister, and most of all, he is the Minister of National Security. We have seen a dramatic decline in discipline, respect, and sports in the constituency, which has directly impacted the livelihoods of those vendors and their families. As a former sportsman and coach of this constituency, after witnessing this progressive decline in Castries East, I intend to address that with urgency. They have deprived the youth from harnessing their talents and skills. Even when the government boasts of achievements of our sports stars like Darren Summy, Gillian Alfred, Lavon Spencer, and those young athletes coming up, I send in a warning to you all. Do not allow these people to come close to your children, because they are going to do nothing good for your children. We see their actions being totally opposite. Look at the number of schools in Castries East. After $80 million in loans from the National Lottery, the uncaring government has deprived all the students of the school in Castries East of the opportunity of growth, since the NLA was left with an $800,000 monthly loan payment for the next 15 years. This debt has deprived them from making available funds for the development of sports and other programs for our youth. As an incoming government, we will work assiduously to ensure that we right this wrong by sourcing the required resources to fund the sporting programs for the youth of the Castries East constituency. This also has implications for the youth to get involved in criminal activity. When they are deprived of these opportunities to develop their skills and talents, this lack of opportunity for the youth only creates the avenue for them to get involved in deviant behavior. Castries East has become so dangerous that over the past few months, we have heard multiple shootings and seen a level of lawlessness that we have never seen before. As the saying goes, when a fish starts to spoil, it starts from the head. The silence of our leaders and the inability to create opportunity for our youth has created the avenue for criminals to operate with impunity. But we, the United Workers' Party, will not allow the wanton disregard for the life of our people. And we are sending a strong message out to all these criminals. There will be no place to hide. We will find you. The security and safety of the citizens of this country and the residents of Castries East is paramount. This is why, on assuming office, the United Workers' Party will implement border control with an expanded canine program for both the police and customs to ensure that the inflow of firearms and drugs are stopped at the borders. So when Philippe asking for recommendations, our political leader gave him a list. How Richard Frederick? Tulsa. What did he do? He threw it in the garbage. The police canine unit will ensure that those weapons already here will be sniffed out, and anyone found in violation will face the full force of the law. These measures will be complemented with the continuation of the CCTV program stopped by the government. As a responsible government, the security of our people must never be compromised. Also, due to the hardship being experienced in St. Lucia by parents, we see too many young people drop out from school because their parents cannot afford their tuition. The youth of Castries East, I am speaking to you. You will not be left out. Upon assuming office, the United Workers' Party will ensure free tuition to every student entering the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. The United Workers' Party will ensure that access to training is made available in various disciplines for all, to ensure that you get the opportunity for your personal development and future growth. In closing, I want to remind the families who are devastated due to senseless killing of their loved ones through gun violence and the others left nursing bullet wounds for those shootings. The United Workers' Party will ensure the justice system will be reformed so that justice will be served and families can get closure. No longer will victims be left to suffer and die because they cannot afford health care. The United Workers' Party, on assuming office, will ensure that these victims will be able to get $75,000 worth of health insurance to assist them with their medical bills and surgery. So I say to Archie, Chantal, Brad, and the other persons who are left to care for themselves, we've got you. I say to Castries East, do not fear. I offer hope to bring sustainable change and development to Castries East. We, the United Workers' Party, have a plan. We have a vision for Castries East and all the residents. We ask you to right the wrongs. Vote the United Workers' Party under the leadership of Mr. Alan Michael Chasney, the only leader with the right connections to restore St. Lucia, to remove us from under the dark cloud of criminality and depression, to ensure safety, security, prosperity, development, and growth for all St. Lucians to benefit, so that they can care for their families and not depend on handout by any government. We ask you to vote for life, vote for your future, vote for your children. May God bless you all, and I thank you all.
United Workers' Party is Chico that we want. Chico, Chico, Chico. There's the man there. Chico, Chico, Chico. There's the man there. Chico, Chico, Chico. There's the man there. Chico.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the man Chico. I want you to stay right here. Come here, come here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you. We said Castries 5. Somebody sent me a message and said, put it right. The fabulous 5 of Castries. Peter Chico, Tommy Descat, Castries South, Rush Clark, Castries Central, Stephen Favre, Castries North, and the right guy, Guy Joseph, Castries Southeast. Where's Guy? Yeah, it's okay. The right guy is making his way. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Nabo's Team Castries, who will sweep the Castries Basin come the next general election.
Tell them fellas ring the bell. Tell them man them ring the bell. Tell Labour Party ring the bell. Ring the bell. Tell them fellas ring the bell. Tell them man them ring the bell. Tell Labour Party ring the bell. Ring the bell. What they waiting for? What they waiting for? What they waiting for? You can't take the pressure no more. What they waiting for? What they waiting for? What they waiting for? You can't take the pressure no more. From the GPA to CIP, so now they playing big man. It's the highest murder rate we ever get. Everywhere is big gun. The hospital they talking about, well up to now it can't done. Now the time has come, then we vote along. No doubt my PM, he is the better man. When it comes to run the country, we voting for Alan. We in a crisis, we need a better plan. Tell Philip Jeff, yeah, you are not the man. Tell them fellas ring the bell. Tell them man them ring the bell.
Zotbaga we boogie sa Pierre ring the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, the day Philip Pierre ring that bell, I want you to know one thing. And that is, SLP will go, SLP have to go, and SLP must go. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we're taking a little break from the Castries Basin. We're taking a little break by going into the leadership of the party now. And I go into a constituency not far from the Castries Basin. Now, you know, strangely enough, that's the first constituency SLP give up on. When they were making changes in candidates, they were supposed to change Wayne. But Wayne is Pierre, good little partner. So he said, I'll give you all the resources you want, but go and double your effort. Let me tell you a secret, Pierre. His best effort is not good enough. And even if he double that effort, it will be too little, too late. Because in the United Workers' Party, if you think you have a big tree, we have the small axe. Ladies and gentlemen, I will bring to you on stage right now the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, the next parliamentary representative of Ancillary Canaries, the man Dominic Fede, who will address you right now.
Back in 2016, they try and bring victory. But now in 2021, they say Girard winning. But let me tell you who that's the right man for Canaway. Jack Mel, Millet, and the whole of Ancillary. F-E-D-E-E. Fede is the man for we. F-E-D-E-E. Flavo is the right party. F-E-D-E-E. Fede is the man for we. F-E-D-E-E. Flavo is the right party. Remember last 5 years, what Labour people saying? They all was telling us that better days are coming. But Fede that do everything and he'll just keep working. We're giving him another 5 cause of working to win. F-E-D-E-E. Fede is the man for we. F-E-D-E-E.
Good night, good night, good night. The people of the United Workers' Party. Can you feel the victory here in Castries East? Can you feel the victory in Castries Central? They are running scared. They are desperate because there's too much flabble fire. Now, before I go any further, I want to big up my 2 colleagues, Rush and Chico, whom I've had the privilege of getting to know only recently. But to me, Rush Clark is the most courageous politician I have met in my entire life. You know why Rush Clark is courageous? Rush Clark is running against a man whom the Labour Party told all of us is the most frightening thing to have happened to the politics in St. Lucia. And a young man at 32 has said very loudly, without any fancy speeches, but with a courageous walk
to the podium and to the platform of the United Workers' Party, he put his hands up and he said, I will be the dragon slayer. And so this dragon must be slain. Because if the dragon is not slain, the consequences are too dire for the future of St. Lucia. And so Rush has taken a walk of destiny. He has taken a walk of purpose. You know, people often say to me, boy, Fede, you're not afraid of Richard Frederick. You're not afraid that maybe one day that man just call one of his boys and do something to you. I am not saying that I have any evidence that Richard Frederick have any boys. All I'm telling you is what people call me and say to me. Now, my response to them is always this. The harder they come, the harder they fall. DJ, run the track.
Never seem to hear even your cry. So as sure as the sun will shine, I'm gonna get my share now. What's mine? And then the harder they come, the harder they fall. One and all. Ooh, the harder they come, the harder they fall. One and all.
That's right. The harder they come, the harder they fall. We are not surrendering. We are not giving up. We will not be bullied. We will not keep our country under siege. Richard Frederick, you must go. The day that we are afraid to speak our minds in the United Workers' Party, then our country is finished. And so, Rush Clark, I am proud of you. I look up to you. Every young man in Central Castries should look up to your candidacy. Every young person in Central Castries should find example in what you have decided to do for your country. This is not just for Central. This is for all of St. Lucia. We have a cancer in our politics. And if we don't get rid of that cancer, then that cancer will erode the very body politic of our country. And we must eradicate that cancer once and for all with Rush Clark in Central Castries, the man who will do it. So Rush, enough respect for you, my brother. Don't mind the little voice. Behind that is a strong David, as Tommy mentioned earlier. And Peter Chico is another one that I admire. I remember watching a budget debate. And you know, you're discussing the plans of the country for the next financial year. And instead of focusing on the budget, as most ministers of finance would do for that debate, Philip Pearce said something that I will never forget. He said that the entire Chico family has declared war against me. And I said to myself, Peter Chico has created such a fear, such a panic in Philip Pearce. What's going on in our politics? And so I decided to get myself a voters list from Castries East to see what's really going on. And I look under the letter C, and boy, they really have Chicos in Castries East. So many Chicos that Philip J. Pearce is now getting a Malcaddy. And as the Malcaddy take him, the entire Labour Party is becoming more and more afraid. Because the Chico family is a formidable family, according to Philip Pierre. And so what I've been told is that they go around every single day with a mission. And Philip Pierre has been put under political pressure like he has never been put before. My brother, Peter Chico, take a bow. Continue to do the work. And so because of what's happening in Central Castries, they are all running away. Now, Virginia Albert, what did she do when Titus came? She cooey. Joachim Henry, what did he do when the fire from Guy get too hot? He cooey. Gibo Ferdinand, when the big boss Shas came back to town, what did he do? He cooey. And when Expoflex became viral in Choiseul, Dr. Pauline Antoine, what did she do? And when Lady Lee's Razor Smile in Viewfort South became too radiant, Dr. Kenny Anthony too cooey. And so guess what, my friends? It's all over. You're pretty. You're pretty, Yaka. You're pretty, Mredu. Bal pretty. Leba pretty. Tell them, I say, make a meme with that. Make as many memes as you want Star Trek with that. Take all of what I've just said and make a meme. Because the right thing is on the wall. The people of this country are ready for change. And change will come to the people of St. Lucia. Tonight, I came to speak to you about a tale of two leaders. One named Alan Michael Chasney and one named Philip Joseph Pierre. Now, I have had the privilege of being in Parliament as well as in the Senate. And I have had a front row seat to see both of these men and how they execute their duties. You see, our country is at this state in its history that we need visionary, competent leaders to transform St. Lucia. And I want to make the comparison, and you determine for yourself who is boss. Now, we had in recent times two crises that have afflicted our country. One is COVID-19. And in COVID-19, I was most honored when the Cabinet of Ministers, led by Alan Chasney, appointed me to be head of the command center. But what I saw most acute was how really strong and competent Alan Chasney, the then Prime Minister, was. Because you see, anybody can sit in the cabin of an airplane and put the plane on autopilot, and once there is no storm, then anybody can fly a plane on autopilot. But when you want to know whether a man is a good captain, you judge him in times when there are turbulent winds, when that aircraft has got to go through difficulty. And I have seen Alan Chasney during COVID steady that aircraft and landed St. Lucia safely on the runway of transformation, of creating lives and livelihoods for the thousands of St. Lucians who needed real leadership at the time. And the very first thing he did was to set up a command center that allowed him to harness the very best talents available to the country in the civil service. Tommy was there. and Titus was there. And so what we did then was to make sure that we bring the very best ceiling of leadership available to the country. You see, leadership is not some abstract word. If the leader is a 2, the family, the community, the organization, or the country will be a 2. If the leader is a 10, the country, the business, the cause, the war will be a 10. And I watch Alan Chasney, who sits here humbly tonight, and he set up the command center. And then as Minister of Finance, he had 25% of his revenue disappear overnight. The main sector, tourism, shut down overnight. Most productive sectors in the country died. And there was nothing that we could have done. The country and the world came to a standstill. And Alan Chasney remained calm, composed, got his team together, gave information to the private sector, civil society groups, and the people of St. Lucia. Almost on a nightly basis, they were informed of what was happening. Alan Chasney put together a very robust set of policies to steer the country out of its most difficult hour since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And he steered it in the direction of success, so much so that St. Lucia at one time was regarded as the best country in the entire Western Hemisphere for how we manage COVID. It meant we did better than the United States of America. It meant we did better than Canada. It meant we did better than all the countries in Latin and South America. And it meant that nobody in CARICOM could touch St. Lucia the way in which they managed the COVID crisis. And so when I tell you tonight that one of the most visionary leaders St. Lucia has ever had sits in our midst tonight, I tell you this from a place of authority. Alan Chasney is a man who can lead in good and in bad times. We lost the election. Homicides were somewhere in the region of 59, late 50s, and if we were bad lucky, we got maybe a low 60. Philip Pear took over the country, presided over it, and his stewardship resulted in a 20% increase in killings in this country. That homicides went from 60 all the way up to 75, which represents a 20% increase in the number of homicides that we have had in this country. And when asked, what's the plan? What are we told? My father is the policeman. I am not the policeman. I have never ever heard Alan Chasney said that Michael Chasney is the fixer and I am not. I have never heard Alan Chasney said that Michael Chasney is the businessman and I am not. He took responsibility like all responsible leaders do. So if you can't take responsibility, then I have no hope in you solving the many problems that we face in our country. And so we have this crime crisis, no plan in place. Every single solution that Philip J. Pear has put forward are things that have been done before and things that have failed. Talks about giving the police more vehicles. Talks about building more police stations, while exhibits go missing, while the forensic lab and the pathologists, they differ in terms of what killed Tyson, whether it was rat poisoning or whether it was some other cause. Talks about there being a regional pandemic, and so it is not St. Lucia that is the only country that has a crime situation. I want to say to Philip J. Pear that that is ludicrous. St. Lucia has the highest murder rate in the entire OECS region. And that is under his leadership. That is under his watch. That is under his stewardship. And so if there is not a vision to solve the problems of health care and the problems of cost of living that is afflicting our country, then we will perish. Because the good book says that where there is a lack of a visionary leader or a lack of vision, it would mean that the people will perish. That is what the good book says. And so we have absolutely no choice in this election to return our country to vision. We have no choice in this election to fight for our country to return to the days of a visionary leader. We have no choice in this election but to go out there and to fight in every single seat in Labrie, in Vieux-Fort South, in Choiseul, in Vieux-Fort North, on the East Coast, and the West Coast, and the Castries Basin, and in the north of the country. We must bring the flag of fire to the St. Lucia Labour Party, because if we don't, St. Lucia will suffer severe consequences. And so tonight, I want to say to my Labour Party friends who call me and try to justify the leadership of Philip Pear, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you that you would justify such mediocrity, that you would allow someone who has obviously failed at his constituency. Look at his constituency. He has been at the helm of Castries East for 28 years. And no disrespect to the people of Castries East that are here, but I know that under Romanus Lancico, you know better times in the Castries East constituency. You know that under Philip J. Pear, your constituency has regressed. You know that. And so we cannot continue to pedal backwards. Now they're running around and they're giving everybody vouchers. And they're giving everybody contracts. And they're giving away plywood. And they're giving away galvanized. You know, the people in Dennery South last night said something. And I want the rest of St. Lucia to say this. The people of Dennery South last night said, take the money and bend them out. Take the money and bend them out. And so we will take the money and vote them out, because St. Lucia cannot take any more of the St. Lucia Labour Party. No more high cost of living. No more health care crisis. No more crime crisis. Let's re-elect the man who can transform this country. The man, Alan Michael Chasney. I thank you, my brothers and sisters.
And then the order they come, the order they fall, one and all. Ooh, the order they come, order they fall.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was Senator Dominic Fede, our deputy political leader and next parliamentary representative for Ancillary Canries. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to the Castries Basin to complete the fabulous five. You know, Philip J. Pierre is on his way out. So is Stevenson King. So is Ernest Hilaire. So is Richard Frederick. And of course, we have to ensure that the one seeking to come in does not even see the door. You know, before I call on the next speaker, we have to examine the person who is leading our country very carefully. You know, this is a man who looked at us, found us after the UWP demitted office with a bread in our hand. He looked at us and he said to us, half a loaf is better than a whole bread. And so, to ensure that we end up with half a loaf, he doubled the price of a bread. So the money you could have bought one bread with before, you cannot even get half a loaf with it now. This is a real disaster. When you look at the cost of living, the man was telling you it was imported. Meanwhile, he was manufacturing hardship right here in St. Lucia by putting on you a 2.5% on services and goods. He manufactured hardship right here by keeping the price of gas artificially high when it was low at the pumps in St. Lucia. When it was low on the international market, he kept it high at the pumps in St. Lucia. And now election is approaching. All of a sudden, he finds the answer. What Alan Shastner and the UWP had been telling him for years to ease the strain of the people, on the people, he could not do it. But now, he's running ahead, telling you he'll give you an ease, reduce gas from $16.50 to $16, whereas Alan Shastner had it at $13.95. He is now, well, they promised you they would remove the 2.5. Up to now, they have not removed it. But wait, just before the election, they will tell you they're going to remove it. But if you make the mistake of bringing them back, you're going to get the hardship right back on your back. And so, we also want to let him know, the man who handpicked Richard Frederick, made him his sidekick and made him his spokesman. We want to say to him what has already been said to him. If Frederick is not good enough for Flambeau, and Frederick is not good enough for Labour, then Frederick is not good enough for Castries Central. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will deal with Lisa a little later, because they're doing all kinds of things using government apparatus to push her. But you know, as of now, we already had Richard, we had all of those guys, Ernest Hilaire. We're not bringing anyone who doesn't have good character back into the House of Assembly. And we will not bring any new person who does not have character back to the House of Assembly, or into the House of Assembly. Because at the end of the day, I know what it is to pay my student loan. I took a student loan at the Bank of St. Lucia. I came back to St. Lucia, I worked and I paid my student loan. And if you do not recognize that you have to honor your commitment, you cannot be an honorable person. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you now an honorable person. A man who has proven through his performance that he is the best representative that Castries Southeast has ever seen. And ladies and gentlemen, the people of Castries East recognize the mistake that was made in the last election. And they are ready now to return the right guy, to return the real guy, and to bring back Guy Joseph into the House of Assembly as the parliamentary representative for Castries Southeast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Guy Joseph.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I've ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say.
Good night, St. Lucia. Good night, supporters of the United Workers' Party.
We are in Castries East tonight, the battleground seat. The seat which we must work and which Mr. Chico must deliver to remove the burden and embarrassment of Philip J. Pierre on the backs of St. Lucians. And so I bring you special greetings from Castries Southeast. I want to let you know tonight, do not let your heart be troubled. Castries Southeast is in the bag, and we are delivering this seat for the United Workers' Party. Now, my colleague Roche and Mr. Stephen Favre, I want you to remind the people of Castries Central and Castries North that they have been disowned by the St. Lucia Labour Party. I want to be very serious in my speech tonight. Now, I thought they told me I had an hour. I came with my bag, but now they tell me I don't have an hour. So I will work on what I have. You know, when a parent disowns a child, that this is a very serious thing. And I want to say to the labor rights in Castries Central and Castries North, that while you have been disowned by the St. Lucia Labour Party, they have given you a beau-père. You know what's a beau-père? A stepfather. They did not even allow you to choose your own beau-père. They gave you a beau-père. And I believe that the disrespect shown by the St. Lucia Labour Party to the people of Castries North and Castries Central, if you have any integrity in these seats, we should, you know they say back to sender. We should tell the St. Lucia Labour Party, you cannot tell us who to vote for if you cannot feel a candidate for Central and for Castries North. And I want to say to the people of St. Lucia, it is time we stop allowing foolish politicians to take us for a ride. Stevenson King, as an embarrassment, you are showing up in Odsa with 12 or 14 people in blue. And while they are in blue, Philip J. Pierre is saying to the labor rights, vote for you. So you, Stevenson King, you're not man enough to win a seat by yourself. You need the help of the St. Lucia Labour Party, but that will not save you in this election. St. Lucia, and for the rest of the labor rights in this country, I want to say to us, we must not allow politicians to disrespect us, to disrespect our intelligence. If Richard Frederick is a product of UWP, why did the UWP fire him? And why was it the Labour Party that hired him? That is what you need to ask yourself. Now, we are voting for no beau-pères in this election. We're voting for fathers. We're voting for mothers. We're voting for real representatives. If your party can disown you, then you have a right to disown them. And I challenge Labour Party to fill a slate of 17 candidates. You know, St. Lucia has only one real leader, and that is Alan Michael Chasney. The man who could fill a slate of much more than 17. Now, Labour Party continue to lie to us. And it is sad that people believe them. Can you believe that Labour Party was saying they wrote to Teo Hakim to get permission to use a SAB as the SAB? I have the document, I have not printed it, but I can give you the land registry with the stamp of 26 September 2025. Registered in the NDC since 1986, approximately 92 acres of land. So Labour is in the South tonight. And they want people to believe that UWP sold that land to Teo Hakim. When the land register, something so easy to prove that it is a lie. Si yo kay mati baw about ça. Se bay la pa connaître la ki otama chose yo ka di. So I want St. Lucia to know. Land register is still in the name of NDC, National Development Corporation, since 1986, and it has not changed. So Alan Chasney and the UWP never sold us the SAB to Teo Hakim or any other developer. For that matter, that land was reserved for local St. Lucians with a subdivision to build their own small hotels and restaurants. Reserved 100% for St. Lucians. Why would the government lie? I will tell you something. With SLP, wrong is right. With UWP, we are going to right the wrong. Now I want you to understand that I don't want to focus on too many things, but I need to touch on this. St. Jude Hospital, again, another lie. False promises. So Philip J. Pierre, as Prime Minister, says that the hospital will be handed over to them, but they will make the transition after. Now, I can tell you what it means. You remember with the OKEU hospital, it was handed over. There was a naming ceremony, and then padlocks was placed on the doors, and it took a couple years later for United Workers' Party under Alan Chasney to open OKEU. So if Renault finished the hospital, why not move the people in? Why are you telling us that you are going to hand over, but you're not doing the transition yet? Now, St. Lucia, I am proud of my leader. I am proud of the Honorable Alan Chasney. On average, you can Google it, a hospital in the US, a 50-bed hospital, would cost anywhere between 25 and 75 million. And the 75 million would be a very high-end, sophisticated hospital. I want the Labour Party to explain to St. Lucia how they could justify spending $400 million on a 100-bed hospital. But it appears to me that from what they said, it's a 50-bed hospital and not a 100-bed. But even if I give them the benefit of the doubt on a 100-bed, that makes it $4 million per bed. 400 million divided by 100 beds is 4 million per bed. How is that possible? How is that possible? And it is a makeshift hospital. It is an 80-year-old building with galvanized roof and plywood in the ceiling that is already taking termites. I want St. Lucia. Now listen to me. This is not Labour Party's money. All of us, the taxpayers of this country, are the ones paying for it. Now, I hear some people claiming family. Now, I want to be very careful. I heard a young lady said how she is related to Maroc and Menisa. Now, here's what I will say to you. My mother and Maroc's mother were children of two sisters. I will not even speak for me. I will tell you my mother and Maroc were second cousins because my mother was first cousin with Maroc's mother. On the Rambali side, my mother is cousin to the Rambalis. I don't come on platform and claim family that I don't have. Sometimes I don't even claim family that I have. But you see, when people want to give themselves credibility that they don't have, yo kashe pou fami yo pani. So, I want to say to the people of St. Lucia and the people of Castries Southeast in particular, I heard a kind of pronouncements. I heard that Piton Floor can replace Piti Piton and Go Piton. So instead of people going to Soufrière to see the Pitons, they should go to Piton Floor. That is the economic plan for Castries Southeast under the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, they talk about creating a farmer's market. Now, you know, I don't tell stories. I come with my evidence as to how long a farmer's market has been in the making. So, I go to the 2011 manifesto of the St. Lucia Labour Party, page 19. I tell them, don't come and lie to the people of Castries Southeast. De pou vin mati, nou kay de mati. So, on page 19, creating a farmer's market. It is right there on page 19 of that. That's 2011, you know. Labour was in office until 2016. And I will read it to you. Farmers' markets are very important medium for local produce to market their produce, for local producers to market their produce. In our rapidly evolving consumer-driven world, it is important that we respond to the consumer's needs for convenience and ease of access. A St. Lucia Labour Party government will provide support for hosting farmers' markets where produce can be sold in organized manner. You know the only prime minister who built a new market for the farmers? Honorable Alan Michael Chasney at the Castries market. So I hear somebody, some wannabe rep talking about building a farmer's market. So that was 2011. So Philip JPM might tell you he was not the one who said they were going to build a farmer's market. So I take his own manifesto of 2021 on page 30. On page 30, on the Castries Southeast, number 4, it says, facilitate the creation of, on the number 3, facilitate the creation of physical market space for farmers wishing to sell their produce to residents. And again, we still have not seen the market. In 2025, they bring in a new rep, and the rep says, we're going to build a market again. So far, we have free markets. Invisible markets in Castries Southeast. And that is all the plan y'all can come with for Castries Southeast. Now, here's the best part I've heard. I know Philip J. Pierre is not so good on geography. Because he said St. Lucia is part of Europe. You remember that? He said, we are part of Europe. Well, I listened to a clipping on Hot 7 News talking about building a fire station and a police station in Castries Southeast, the second largest constituency on the island. And here's the geography lesson we were given. The closest police station to Castries Southeast is in Dennery. The wannabe rep of Castries Southeast said the closest police station to Castries Southeast is in Dennery. You can go and listen to it on Hot 7 News. Now, she did not say Richford, because Richford is closer to Castries. She said Dennery. Across the road from Castries Southeast is Marigot Police Station. A stone throw away from therefore is Masha Police Station. Babono, less than, in fact, our constituency ends in Kako, by the Kako playing field. Babono Police Station and Fire Station is less than a mile and a half away. But the closest police station and fire station to Castries Southeast, according to the newly launched candidate, is in Dennery. So, I understand no organization can rise above its leader. So if St. Lucia is in Europe, I can now understand why Dennery is the closest community to Castries Southeast. You see, now, they said they're going to build a police station and a fire station. But they don't read. Yopa read. So I'm going to the plans for the 2021 manifesto of the St. Lucia Labour Party, page 30, number 4. Establish a fire station and a police station for the constituency. Now you see, recycled ideas. People who come empty-handed and empty-headed. You know, there are some people, you know, as children growing up, there was a card we used to play, hat or bareheaded. It used to come in chewing gum packs. Any of you can remember that? Yes. So they don't only come empty-handed, they come empty-headed. Because a basic thing would be explain to us why these promises were not kept. And then tell us how you plan on keeping these promises. Now, you know, I built a playing field in Forest there, and they refused to clean the playing field. They said, you know what they said? They said, say, playing field guy, nous pas couper zebla, nous pas arranger. Today they put in lights. Now let me tell you something. I welcome the lights. But let me tell you, you can only put lights because there's a playing field. And while you're going to put the lights on the Forestier playing field, the lights in Odsa has not been working for 4 years because the electricity bill has not been paid for the lights at the Odsa playing field. While you are doing that, the multi-purpose court in Tiroche, the lights are being paid by a gentleman named Thomas Lima from the United States. That's the gentleman who painted the court and then they painted over it. I want you to understand that people want to be involved in politics, and it's a good aspiration for people to have. I heard they talk about operating the trail. Do they know that forestry had been operating that trail for years in forestry and it was not profitable? They could have just asked the chief forestry officer at that time, the one who is the Minister of Agriculture, who turned all forest, all agriculture into forest. You could have just asked him, and don't make a fool out of yourself. And then, I heard the best one. Factory shells in cul-de-sac has been empty for years. I have represented cul-de-sac. I have been in that constituency. And up to now, I don't know that government owns a single factory shell in cul-de-sac. Now, I know there were a few factory shells in Odsa. Again, they're getting the geography wrong. Now, the factory shells in Odsa, according to my information, a number of them have been sold, and the name I'm hearing is Reno. I cannot verify it yet because I don't have the land papers for it, but I will find it. A multi-purpose center that was being built in Forestier, half of the land has been sold to the person putting the lights on the Forestier playing field. So, I want to put the owner on notice. Government does not own one public building in Forestier, and no matter what you pay for the land, when the UWP gets back into office, we are going to reacquire this land because this was Crown lands reserved for a community center which we had started. So St. Lucia, if I have to tell you, they tell me highlight what I've done. I need a whole day and a half. I've built 2 parks, 2 multi-purpose courts with community centers, and 2 community centers. That's 4 community centers altogether during my time. We have a facility. They talk about having a major center. We built a center that can accommodate 1,000 people, and it has offices upstairs as an administrative building, but they are so clueless they're talking about an administrative building. Now, St. Lucia, understand where we are today. Our country is in a crisis. They tell us the mood is red, but the country is in red. And we need to put the country in yellow. And so tonight, as I close, I want to let you know that the seven from heaven, the Save Our St. Lucia, the farmers, I was a farmer. I sold 150 boxes of bananas every fortnight. I know the sacrifices that the farmers made for this country. And I want to say to the farmers of St. Lucia and in Castries Southeast in particular, this pension is not a campaign promise. It is going to be a reality for all our banana farmers. Millions of dollars was given to the government of St. Lucia through Stabex, through BAM, the banana farmers, but the farmers did not get the direct benefit. The man who truly loves farmers in this country, Honorable Alan Michael Chasney, will see to it that every farmer gets their due reward for the work that they did in St. Lucia. And I want to say, as I close, Sir Arthur Lewis Community College is in my constituency. And I am so proud of my government that we are going to make education. You heard what I said? We are going to make education at Sir Arthur free, tuition free for all St. Lucians. Now, all of us have projects that we like. But I want to tell you, we don't make false promises. With SLP, wrong is right. If it is not wrong, SLP does not support it. Many have become captives of Labour Party's propaganda, unable to break free from the scourge of SLP. All they care about is protecting the victory. All UWP wants to do is protect you, the people of St. Lucia, and we are going to right the wrong. I thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I saw a guy come here with all his files and briefcase. I swear he's a new special prosecutor they appointed. But that is the man who will reclaim the Castries Southeast seat. Now, you know, Philip Pierre has been such an embarrassment and such a failure that we don't even want to waste time talking about him. The good thing for us is that UWP offers us hope. There is hope with the United Workers' Party, with Alan Chasney as the leader, and the men and women that were selected to be candidates in all of the constituencies. So we know, we just saw tonight the fabulous five of Castries, and we know they are making a clean sweep this election. We heard Dominic Fede, and of course, we know he too is a sure win. But I just want to acknowledge that we have Titus Preville here, who will win the Babonneau seat. But tonight, the Labour Party is in the South. The people in the South should ask them a simple question. What have you done for us lately? Now, lately is 28 years. Huh? The only thing they can say that they have done for the South is to give them a label of the crime capital of the OECS. How they call them? Escalated crime zone. When we get back to office, we are going to make the South the pearl of the Caribbean as opposed to an escalated crime zone. But to do the things that we are talking about and the things that we are proposing, you need vision. You need plans. You need grandiose ideas. You need to be able to network, and you must be a good negotiator. You must have yourself a competent team of tenacious men and women around you. You must be a remarkable leader. Also, you'll know what I'm talking about already. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say no more. The answer for St. Lucia is to change this government, change the Prime Minister, and vote in Alan Michael Shasley and the United Workers' Party. Please welcome Alan Shasley.
Louder than words. Don't be deceived by all those fancy talkers. Action speaks louder than words. Don't be deceived by all those fancy talkers. 'Cause a man can say, he'll turn your night into day. And a man can say, he'll take your sufferings away. And a man can say, he'll roll your dark clouds away.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bocage. Good evening, Castries East. And good evening, Castries Central. Good evening to all St. Lucians who are watching with us tonight, and in particular, those persons who are in the diaspora. I think it would be remiss of me if I did not thank the New York caucus for the incredible, warm welcome that they gave to Elijah and to Bradley and their trip. And I have to say, I looked at the videos and I was very jealous. So I'm telling the people in New York, and I'm putting the people in Houston on notice as well, Alan Shasley and some of the leaders of the United Workers' Party are coming to get their turn very, very soon. As many of you know, I've been going around the island literally on a daily basis. My poor driver, Boyce, all of you know him. He even forgot that it was his wife's birthday 2 days ago. So that's why Boyce has been showing up early, because the wife put him out. So I'm putting in a plea for Boyce to please let him back home, because I'm running out of food in my home for keeping him. But we have been going all around and speaking to so many St. Lucians of all walks of life. And I have to say to you that the problems in this country are being manifested and said throughout the country. Everybody is of one voice. Everybody has stories about what's happening in the healthcare or not happening in healthcare. Everybody has their concerns about their own security. And people are suffering from the cost of living, but also the fact that the economy is not growing. People are growing weary of the lies and are feeling very despondent. And it's because of what we've been hearing and our own experience in running this country, because I ran the country for 5 years, along with Dominic, with Guy, with Herod, and also my boy Spider, who's here, but not running this time, but he might as well be running, and also Bradley. We know what it's going to take to turn this country around. And this is why we came up with the SOS plan, Save Our St. Lucia. But before I get to that, when you sit on the side of a bar, sit on the steps of somebody's home with other people that are there, you inevitably end up having a discussion about politics and what to do in the next election and who to vote for in the next election. And it got me thinking, because if the major problems in this country are healthcare, national security, and the cost of living, let's analyze that for a moment. The people of St. Lucia very soon, hopefully, will have to choose between two political parties: St. Lucia Labour Party or United Workers' Party. So let's look at the policies of those two parties, because they've been around for a very long time. So there's no secrets. Action speaks louder than words. So we know we've not had to just listen to people in opposition and give us words, but we've now had the opportunity to see them in government where they're supposed to have action. So let's take the cost of living. The Labour Party, before the elections in 2016, you remember, imposed a 15% VAT on the people of St. Lucia. They themselves called it an oppressive tax. But nonetheless, they went ahead and they put it in. It was a United Workers' Party on 5 to stay alive that we promised you that we would reduce the VAT and eventually that we would eliminate the VAT, replacing it with something else. When we came in 2016, within the first year, we reduced the VAT to 12.5%. The Labour Party people jumped up and down and said we could not do it, this could not happen. And sadly, the World Bank and the IMF and the CDB also said it could not be done. And we showed them that we were right, that the people of this country were being overtaxed, and they needed to put the money back into their pocket because we wanted them to have ching, ching, ching. Now, a person in my constituency told me that the cost of living has gone up so much, and he knows the price of buses are not going to come down, he knows the prices of bed not going to come down, so he doesn't need ching, ching, ching anymore, he wants shoo, shoo, shoo. But that's what United Workers' Party did. And if it had not been for COVID, we would have reduced the VAT by now to 10%. But the Labour Party came back in, and in tutus, they introduced what they call a health and security levy. And we know that none of the money was going to health and security, but it looked like a VAT, it walked like a VAT, and we now know that it was a VAT. And instead of being 15%, it is now 15.5%. So the two political parties have made pronouncements. The Labour Party has told you that they're going to bring universal health care, and the way they're going to pay for universal health care, in their own document, is that they're going to increase VAT by 2.5%. So that means that the VAT is going to go to 18%. Not my words. They had the governor of the central bank come here to say, oh, St. Lucia is the lowest VAT rate in the Caribbean. And St. Lucia should be raising its VAT because we should have a common VAT. So go and check to see what the VAT rate in the other countries are. But on the other hand, you have a United Workers' Party that with our 7 from heaven have made you a promise again that the moment that we get in, we will reduce the VAT back to 12.5%. So it's a simple question. You have a party, SLP, that allowed the gas prices to go to $17.50. A United Workers' Party, when you were suffering the most, like you were during the inflation, capped the gas at $13.95. We did not use gas as a tax. We understood the impact of gas on the price of buses and the price of bread. It is the Labour Party that allowed it to go to $17.50 and caused the price of buses to go up and also the prices of bread to go up. So I want to ask you a question, simple question. Because the person was trying to figure out, how should I vote in the next election? Who do you trust to resolve the cost of living problem in St. Lucia? The Labour Party or the United Workers' Party? And wherever I go in St. Lucia, I have not had one person yet vote for SLP for trusting them to fix up the cost of living. So then we have another problem. Healthcare. The Labour Party has been promising St. Lucia universal healthcare. United Workers' Party has said we're going to introduce healthcare insurance. Here's how Labour Party's universal healthcare works. The government is supposed to pay. So they said they're going to start it off with young pregnant mothers and people who are over 80 years and older. Right? And it says for free. And then all of a sudden, people whose grandmothers and mothers were going to get medical attention went to the hospital, and at the end of it were being presented with a bill. And Labour Party came out and said what to us? Oh, we got it wrong. It's not at the hospitals, only at the health centers. And as I said to you, to pay for universal health care, maybe, because it's not been tested yet, they're going to tax you more money. So it means that you're going to have to pay anyway. United Workers' Party has said we're going to introduce health care insurance. And we're going to get every St. Lucian who's working to make a contribution of $1,200 a year. If you're working for a company, the company will pay 50%. Maybe some companies might pay more. We said people who are getting salaries below a certain amount, the company or the government, if you're working as a civil servant, will pay the entire amount for you. We said in our 5 for 5, and we're saying it again in our SOS, that persons who are pensioners, who are not earning above a certain amount of money, government will pay your insurance for you. For those single mothers who never have had a job and are raising their children, that we'll make sure that both them and their children will have insurance. We will pay it for them. Why is that important? It's because the money is going into a separate fund to be there that when you get sick, that the hospital can draw down on the money to pay for it. Now, we have a friend of ours, Skinny. Hard to believe it's almost 1 year since Skinny has left us. And I remember being there that night at OKEU and to see what Skinny did in having to sit on a chair for over 40 hours. A chair. A man who they themselves knew had cancer. Has anything gotten better at OKEU since then? Have our tears and people's tears of all the other people that are suffering in the healthcare crisis that's taking place in St. Lucia, has anybody seen any changes? Is there any empathy? Is there any sense of urgency? But it's the United Workers' Party that opened OKEU when the Labour Party could not open it. It's United Workers' Party that started the process of fixing up over 14 healthcare centers while we were in government. It was United Workers' Party that in the midst of COVID turned around, converted Victoria Hospital into a respiratory center, and opened up OKEU. It is United Workers' Party that when it's confronted as to how much more money we should spend on St. Jude's Hospital, made the tough decision that the people in the South and the people of St. Lucia deserved better and deserved a world-class hospital. And we made the decision to build a new hospital, and that we were going to convert the old hospital into a training center for nurses. So I want to ask you a question. If the healthcare is in a crisis, and you're now going to go to the elections, which political party do you trust to fix up the healthcare in St. Lucia? The SLP or the United Workers' Party? When it comes to crime in this country, it was United Workers' Party that started the process to build a border control and to separate. And the border control was the Marine Police, was immigration, was the customs and immigration, all merged together. Why? All of them have a responsibility to protect our borders and to make them work as one unit in doing so. It's United Workers' Party who said we needed to have the forensic lab open. It was closed when we came in. We reopened it. It's United Workers' Party that invested in a DNA training facility at the forensic lab. It is United Workers' Party that has said we want to now make all of the CSA, crime scenes investigation, be done by our forensic lab, and for all the evidence to be held by the forensic lab. It is United Workers' Party that put forward to reduce having juries to having a judge-only court case to expedite what we were doing. It was United Workers' Party that was looking at George Charles School to convert it into a singular crime facility, the training of our police officers. And I want to say, and I want to bring up something that's very serious for all of us. Thank you. And I believe in him every day. It is unfair to have so many young people on remand in our police. And we don't even have a special remand location for them. We are treating them like criminals. In fact, I'm going to share something with you tonight that probably many of you don't know. They're actually treated worse than the convicted criminals. So here's a person that is being accused of a crime, but has not had their day in court. They are restricted and are in the cell for 23 hours a day. And all of the reform training that's available to people there are only available to people who are convicted. So I cannot imagine that there is a worse curse. You would have thought after you have been convicted that you should be treated harshly, but on remand, and that the majority of people who are there are on remand. We have to look at a different way to deal with that. And if somebody is innocent, that we have not made them in a criminal by the time they leave that system. Imagine the hatred they must have for society, particularly if they were innocent. What government does that? You have a government now in crime fighters, they call themselves, that says what? The commissioner of police came out to say, and I'm still scratching my head, that there was an unofficial report that the evidence has been missing since 2018 and 2019. And there's an official report in 2023 that it was missing, but they found it in 2025. So I said, well, first of all, what is an unofficial report? How can a commissioner of police even use that term and give it to the people of St. Lucia? And an unofficial report that is now proven to be wrong. I have a situation where a young woman was raped. She found the courage to file charges. And when the persons were not charged, she happened to see the person on social media attending an event. And she passed comment. A couple days later, he and the other 2 people were arrested. And then they were put on remand and bailed. The police turned around and charged her. They charged her for making a public statement about her situation. And I'm not scared to say right now, what is going on with the police and with the sexual harassment charges that were put against a senior officer? I know for a fact, and I'm prepared to say it tonight, that I know at least 2 of those persons who have not withdrawn their charges. And I want to know, how is it that the DPP has agreed to drop the charges? And I want to know how that has happened. Now, is it that the DPP was told a lie? And I was told, well, the investigation was not going so great because they had somebody here from RSSS that was doing the investigation. So the police appointed somebody, they claim more senior, but what I found out, he was not more senior, he was close to Ronald Phillips. That's what he was. So we have a problem in our country. We have a serious problem in our country. We have people being shot and there's no response. We're not even seeing any level of empathy. I can go through examples in my own constituency of the horror that is taking place, the trauma that this is leaving behind, and this government continues to remain silent on this issue. So United Workers' Party has said, the first thing we're going to do, stop the guns and the ammunition from coming in. And Chico highlighted it with our border control system. We're going to take control of our streets. We're going to get the CSI going again. We're going to fix up the court system and make sure that there's proper accountability and justice in our country. So I ask you a simple question. If you have 2 political parties, you've seen them in government, which one are you going to trust to solve the crime problem in St. Lucia? The SLP or the United Workers' Party? So here it is. Here it is for all of us tonight, and for all of us watching. This is a very easy decision in this election. Everybody in this country has said it. They trust United Workers' Party to resolve healthcare. They trust United Workers' Party to resolve crime. And they trust United Workers' Party to resolve the cost of living. So there's only one thing left for all of us to do. No, he has to ring the bell. There's one thing left for us to do. When you are standing in line at a bank or a grocery store, I want you to be campaigning. When you're in the bus, I want you to be campaigning. When you're in your community, I want you to be campaigning. When you're at your home, I want you to be campaigning. Because every St. Lucian must understand that there's only one choice in the election, and that is to vote the United Workers' Party. It also means that we all have a responsibility that on the day of the election, one, to vote. And as soon as you voted, go and make sure everybody else you know also votes. That's it. It is very clear that the Labour Party has failed the people of this country. And that is why the United Workers' Party is going to focus on our SOS. We will reduce the 2.5 immediately and eventually bring the VAT down to 10%. We'll reduce the gas prices. We're going to make tuition at Sir Arthur Lewis College free. We're going to make sure that the dredging fee is not applied to the people in the south who don't get water from the dam. We're going to make sure that the farmers that are the backbone of this country, the banana farmers, that they get their pensions. And those farmers that have died in the last 5 years, we'll make a one-time contribution to their families to say thank you. Then we're going to introduce the healthcare insurance that will allow all St. Lucians to have access to $75,000 of insurance, health insurance per year. And we're going to implement the border control system. So again, to all of us tonight, let's not get overly emotional. We should be angry at what this Labour Party has cost all of us in the last 4.5 years. But there's something that we can do about it. We can go out and make sure that we vote, make sure that all our friends, our enemies, everybody goes out to vote. And the last thing I want to say to you, the last thing I've said to you, and again, you must ask yourself, what do you want for your parents? What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your children? And what do you want for your children's children? And if it's the United Workers' Party that you can trust for health care, for national security, and for the cost of living, let us go out and win this election and tell the Labour Party, ring the bell. Thank you very much.
Tell them fellas ring the bell. Tell them man them ring the bell. Tell Labour Party ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Tell them fellas ring the bell. Tell them man them ring the bell. Tell Labour Party ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just have a couple of announcements to make before you leave. Of course, I don't have to tell you tomorrow it's Monday, and Monday night is Like It Is. So please join me on Like It Is tomorrow. And I will have with me our lady from the South, Mrs. Laura Jean-Pierre Noel. So join us tomorrow night. On Tuesday morning, join us for United Workers' Party weekly press briefing. On Thursday, join us at 9 for Meet the Opposition. And next Sunday, we will have our next Sunday live as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please leave the covers on the chairs? Could you leave?
Because you must understand that St. Lucia had no new investments for a very long time, you know. And these things are a fact, the verifiable fact, as I always say. There was no new investment in this country from 2016, 2017.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre continues to push the false narrative that between 2016 and 2021, there were no new investments in St. Lucia under the United Workers' Party. But the results and facts are clear. While the world battled a global pandemic, the UWP was hard at work laying the foundation for economic growth, creating real jobs, and attracting